Good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear okay? And the next thing we are going to ask is that you turn off all cell phones because of the Wi-Fi, okay? We need the Wi-Fi. So we're going to ask all of you to do that. I am so beyond happy that all of you showed up today. This was a big undertaking for us, and we love doing this for our teams. We're going to go over a couple housekeeping rules. First, the cell phones. Second, the restrooms are through this door and to the left, and we will be serving lunch down the hall also in the cafeteria that you guys passed. There are several people involved in this, and at the end you will be able to see what it takes to come up with an event like this. We are also going to remind everybody of the Healthy Habits Challenge. How many people here are going to do the Healthy Habits Challenge? That's it? Come on, folks. What is it? You don't know what the Healthy Habits Challenge? Really? All right. Last year at convention, Dr. Hill gave us his daily healthy habits that he does every day with the oils. So they have decided to challenge all of us to start that. Now, on our leadership call last week, we got something really fun. Did you know the Healthy Habits kit is going to now be an LRP kit? So they can order it as LRP. If they want it as a membership kit, which would be awesome, they just need to pay the $35 membership fee. So I'm going to remember if I have all of it right. If we have all of it right, it comes with Lifelong Vitality, Terrazyme, PB Assist, frankincense, lavender, lemon, I'm missing one, On Guard, Breathe, and Deep Blue Rub. Yeah. So that is a really awesome kit to have. A lot of people on my team have signed up to do it, and we are going to try it. There's on the doTERRA Facebook page you can get on. They want you to take a picture of all your products. If you already have them, you don't need to order the kit. Okay, just order what you have or what you need and take a picture of all of that and then join the challenge. And there'll be questions throughout the whole month. So join that Healthy Habits page. Okay? The next thing I would like to say is this is a very big deal for me. This is a very step out of my comfort zone deal, so excuse me if I cry, and I left my Kleenex over there. Oh well. I am going to give a huge shout out to Courtney Moses Shepherd. I don't know how many people here know Courtney? So you know, Courtney Moses Shepherd is the reason probably 99.9% of us are standing in this room, sitting in this room. But she's the one that started our regional trainings. And when she moved to Minnesota, we decided we wanted to keep them up because we like the benefit for our teams, and our teams absolutely love them. So Courtney, we want to say a huge thank you from us all for giving us this amazing event and helping us walk through it. She even kind of mentored us through this so that we could do everything correctly. And with that being said, I get to introduce the first speaker. And yes, I'm putting my glasses on. I'm sorry, but I am going to cry. So, Jody Jackson Ashford is a platinum with doTERRA, but first and foremost, she is the wife to Chad and the mother to 3 of the most amazing kiddos. And I am just a little bit biased on that. Jody has always known she wanted to be a cosmetologist and an entrepreneur. She started her own salon when everyone else in town was looking at her like she was crazy. She made a huge success of that salon, and it was with a heavy heart, but a very open heart. She closed the salon to give doTERRA her full attention. She is still very much involved in cosmetology industry, and she loves to give back by working with a local church that gives free haircuts to children for back to school. And much to her parents' dismay, Jody and Chad recently moved to Westchester, Ohio, and they are enjoying the Midwest and all it has to offer. But I'm going to share something with you guys that some of you might have heard, but this is the example of the woman she is and the mother she is. Jody was striving for the rank in platinum and was just a little bit short. And so the leaders on her team got together and we decided to do a tangerine sale. Now, she has leaders in 3 different states. So we decided to do Idaho versus South Dakota versus Kansas. And we sold tangerine oils. And we sold a lot of them. And just so you know, Idaho won. But the most amazing thing happened. One morning I woke up and there was a picture on Facebook. And it's a picture of Jody sitting with her 3 kids, my grandchildren. Aiden is 11, Ivan is 9, and Lizzie was 7 at the time. And in front of her was a pile of money. These 3 little kids went into their piggy banks and got $15 each out so that their mom could order them each a tangerine oil. Jody is teaching her children how to believe in their dreams and to help others achieve theirs. And with that, Jody.
So that was actually not fair. I'm like over there crying. To be honest, that was like such a tender moment, and I kind of almost forgot about that. And she said something about using that picture, which we ended up not using those particular slides, but anyway, I forgot about that, so that kind of makes me all teary-eyed. I'm all tangled up. You guys, this day. My mother-in-law asked me yesterday, she said, "Are you all set?" And I said, "Yeah, at 4 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be all set." So 4 o'clock today, I'm going to be like perfectly good. So it's okay. I'm actually going to hold my iPad because while this is going to be an amazing event, we are not up to par with doTERRA, and we don't have awesome teleprompters right here in the front, so I don't have to hold this. But I just really want to make sure that the message that I deliver today is just dead on. I'm sure I'll miss a lot of stuff. I'm sure I'll say things that weren't supposed to be in there, but it is what it is. So yes, I am Jody Ashford, and I am a platinum in doTERRA, and that was really such a miracle. My team truly pulled for me. But you know what? It wasn't just my team. Janet saw a Facebook Live that I did on that, and I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. And Janet saw me doing this Facebook Live, and she texted me and said, "I want 5. I could see her just being like, 5. I want 5. So she bought 5 tangerines to help my team be platinum. She did that. And that meant everything to me, because, you know, the relationship that we have here in doTERRA, it really is a unity. It's a relationship that we want to have to build each other up. Now, I do want to just point something out. We have about 120 people between you that are here and those who are online. And I think that maybe we have on our team about 15, 20 or so. So the majority of you are actually not even on my team. And so it's just something that I'm so happy that even though, you know, a good portion of this particular audience is not even on my team, I'm so happy to stand before you today and deliver a message that I hope will inspire you and move you. So thank you so much for coming to this event. It takes a lot of effort to get here. Many of you have traveled, probably not as far as I have. I think I finally am officially like the furthest traveler in this. David might be the second. Anybody outside of Ohio? Anybody? Anyway, so anyway, I'm just excited to be here. So about 6 months ago, I was kind of going through, this is about the time that we were supposed to be moving to Ohio. And I actually we were staying at my dad and my stepmom Dawn's house at the time, because we were kind of just in this transitional period. And I was taking this moment to create this new Facebook fan page. I'm trying to get a little bit into like branding and marketing online, lead generations and things like that, and trying to learn that route and avenue as well. And I actually had another Facebook page. It was called Sharing Naturally, and I had several hundred people following that page, but the page just didn't seem like it was in alignment with what I wanted to have. The delivery of the page, the messages that I wanted to send out, it was not in alignment. And so I had to create a new page. Facebook wouldn't let me change the name, so I had to create a new page. So of course my name being on there, Jody Ashford, but if you've ever made a Facebook page, like not just a group, but a page, you have to have a handle on there. And the handle, you can't change. Once you have the handle, that's it. Even like lets you know, like, you know, once you have this, you can't change it. So I really wanted to make sure that that handle was like dead on, that it was like what I wanted to express, what I wanted to, when people showed up to my page, that there was a specific message they knew just from seeing the handle on there that this is what this was about. So it actually took me about 2 weeks, and I did a lot of thinking about this because it really was, this is a commitment, you guys, like super commitment to get your handle right. And so anyway, it was really important to me to make sure that I had that. But this is the handle that I ended up coming up with. Next slide. Nope, that's not it. That's not it either. That's not it. No, go back. No. It's the one that says Jody Ashford. That's not. Ah! My presentation just got ruined. No. Bernie, shut it off!
Jody, it's not in there.
It's not in there? Oh, shoot. Okay, well, what's the next one? Okay, for some reason that didn't. Okay, all right. If you go to Jody Ashford or on my handle says, "This is me." This is me, Jody Ashford, is my handle. And I really, really felt like that was it. Like, this is it. This is, okay. Now, mind you, this was in October, okay? We moved to Ohio, and then like in November, we went to see a movie, and we sat down in the auditorium or in the theater, and there was a trailer coming, this awesome movie. Anybody know what it was? The Greatest Showman, and the song, this anthem for the song, and it's like, "This is me," and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my sister-in-law sitting over here, and I'm like, guess what? That's my song. Like, they made that for me. This is me. That's my handle. Like, literally, that's like how excited I got about this song, and I just, I was so excited. I can't wait for the movie to come out because I was like, this is it. Like, this is so cool. Anyway, so everything about that song, if you haven't heard it, you will today. And then if you need to, you can just download it and then replay it, repeat it. It took me like, I think weeks and weeks of just every time I was like traveling, like I went to the gym and then back, like the whole song. It took me 3 times to listen to it to get to the gym, and then 3 more times to get back. So like between like the gym, I was like 6 times listening to it every day. Loved it. Anyway, I still love it. Like, can't not love it. Anyway, but everything about the message of that song is everything I wanted for this particular page. Everything about it. This is me. This is who I am. I'm bold and I'm beautiful and I'm brave. You know, being able to just come out and be who I am and send a message that invites anybody out there to be who they are too. This is exactly what that message needed to be. So then in January, a few of us had gotten together and we started talking about this event. What is the message that we wanted? Duh! Like, this is a message, you guys. This is a message that needed to be here today. Because many of you are actually, you come many times. Maybe you haven't reached your doTERRA goals. You come all the time and you're like, all right, this is my year. This is my time. I'm gonna do this. But there's something, just a piece of you that just can't quite get out of the shell. And this is an event that we want to give you permission to be able to come out of that shell, to be able to be who you are and build this business being you, not trying to be someone else, okay? You see a lot of people standing up even on the stage and many other stages that you've seen, and you're like, I can never do that. I couldn't do that. Well, maybe a stage isn't where you want to be, but I'm just going to tell you that if you want to be a diamond and above, you better start getting on the stage, because this is where diamonds are, right? But you still have that hope. You show up to the events because you have a hope. You hope that you will be able to be inspired, that maybe something enlightening in your life will be able to move you to do something really good, or whatever the case may be. But you still show up, and that right there is a sign that there's something here that's waiting for you, okay? Today you are really, truly exactly where you need to be. This is where you are, and those who are online, when we get them there, when they hear these messages, where they need to be as well. So I encourage you to definitely take heed in what is going to be talked about today. So really amazing speakers that are going to be here. So now, next thing I want to say is that, or talk about, is March, Was a leadership retreat. How many had the opportunity to go to one or the other? Okay, several. That's awesome. Very cool. So at the leadership retreat, one in Orlando, one in Long Beach, California, doTERRA emphasized so strongly on strengths. How many of you have taken the Clifton Strengths Finder assessment? We have a good amount of people out there that's done that. That's fabulous. This is what doTERRA is really shifting gears with, and I actually think it's fabulous. So awesome. So everybody at the leadership training got a code, and they were able to take this assessment, and then they were able to see what their strengths are, the top 5 strengths. What's really interesting is that out of these 4, that's not the right one. Bernie, go to there, Janet, go to the, yeah, there you go, that one. Okay, so there's 4 different categories here, and then you see that there are several different strengths per category. What's fascinating about this is that not one single person, everybody who here has taken a test, and everybody who will yet be able to take that quiz, that assessment, you will find that not one of us are the same. We may have a couple of the same top strengths, and maybe our number 1 strength is the same. But the organization of those 5 top strengths will never be the same. You're unique the way that you are made. Your strengths are not my strengths, and so on and so forth. And this is something that I'm really excited to see go forth with doTERRA. They're actually creating videos for us to be able to learn and understand each individual strength. So when you have a new person come onto your team, they can take the assessment, and then we can learn about their strengths and how to be able to mentor. Our leaders can mentor me. Courtney has asked me for my strengths, and so she's learning about how to mentor me. Good luck with that, right? Anyway, so it's really cool. All right, next slide, please. All right, so these are my strengths. Ideation sometimes gets me in trouble. Sometimes ideation, actually, like what that is that I have lots of ideas. I'm fascinated by ideas, and that's true. What the struggle is with that is sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what's really cool? Like, we could do this, and then I'm like, get working on it, and I'm like, or maybe we should do it like this. And then I rethink it and stuff, which is not always a bad thing, but it's sometimes a struggle because I can't finish anything up. You guys know me, right? You know it. It's true. I've got some stories going on over here. It's true. It's true. There are a few things that I'm like, I set my mind to it, then I'm like, I'm going to run for it, I'm going to go. But several times, so I can't accomplish a lot of stuff. Anyway, so Includer, I actually kind of want to tell you a story about Includer. This one was kind of interesting to me that Includer came up. So Includer is someone who includes people, right? Like I don't like people to feel left out, anyway, I want people to be a part of something. So a few years ago, back in the days when Rod actually came to Idaho to teach classes, he came to an event that I put on at a hotel, and there were like 50 people that came to this class. It was really cool. We would have several events there in the beginning, and we'd have a lot of people. And he did the class, and then I got up to thank him and just tell everybody, all right, have a good night. And I looked over at Rod, as I was thanking him, and he kind of had this look on his face like, we need to talk. And I was just like, I don't know what that looks for, but kind of scared me because I was still not finished standing in front of everybody thanking them. Then we went to dinner later on that night. And there was a few of us that was there. I don't know, Dawn, were you there? And Janet was actually there too, and Courtney. Anyway, and so we were talking. We sat down at this table. It was a long table, like an 8-foot table. And Rod looked across at me, and he said, basically, we need to talk. Kind of like, maybe not in the right words, but there was something to that effect. And he said, you have amazing capability or something. I'm kind of monologuing, but it was basically like, you know how to get people to a class. You can invite and you get people there, and you are a diamond. And he expressed to me that night, he kind of just showed me, made me feel like a rock star, really. I was like, I'm a rock star in Rupert, Idaho. Anyway, I was kind of like a little bit on the blown outside, like blown away. I was just like, holy cow, like what just happened there? Because, at that point, I think I must have been silver. I may not even been silver by then. No, I had been silver. Anyway, whatever. And, to that point, like it just was just fun. I was like, all right. Anyway, and then to find out that someone like Rod actually looked at me as being a diamond. And he told me that. He was the first one that said, you're a diamond. You're a diamond. You get people there, and you know how to host events, and you can get people there. And so that was definitely a moment when I found out that I was an includer. It was something that I remember. It was something I recalled that at a moment that someone told me that that's who I was. And so I'm grateful that that's one of my strengths. Okay, so next slide, the one that says, who are you, or who is influencing you? Okay, so let's just kind of take a little bit of a shift here. So who is influencing you? This is definitely something that I want to express to you. I want you to know that who you hang around is who you become. If you're around, we want to help shape you. When you come to these events, it shapes you, right? It helps you to kind of bring out a little bit more of who you are. But too many times it is that we get around people who don't always believe in what we believe in, or they don't accept maybe essential oils or network marketing or whatever it may be, and it's kind of a bummer, and they kind of like put you down, and you don't want to get out, you don't want to get out and talk to people or invite or share oils or whatever it may be, and that kind of puts a damper on your business. It's not something, a space that you want to be in, and it's really, really, really tough to be in that space to build your business when you don't have people who are supporting you. So when you're doing this kind of a business, you want to be surrounded by good people. Go to the next slide, please. So when we talk about people who are influencing you, these are some of the people. These are just a few people who are influencing you. Friends, family, community leaders, okay? Your friends, are they people who are supporting you? Family. Now, you're obviously not going to like ditch your family, but there are ways that you can like, right? Like, like, all right, well, you don't believe in me, so can you sign this paper of not, anyway, all right. I'll stop there. Anyway, but at the same time, it's a matter of choosing what it is that you want to listen to, right? And who it is that you want to share your dreams with. Obviously, if you know someone's going to cut you down, you may not want to share your dreams with them. Even in social media, on a community in social media, that can absolutely influence you. If you're not on the Edge page or the 1,000 Diamond Project page, get on there. Why? Because you're surrounded by people who want you to succeed. We want you. Everybody in that community is working for the same goal, and we want that to help, right? So leaders, now this can be leaders of the world, anybody that you're following, you know, someone like Tony Robbins, he's awesome, he's a really good leader, right? He's always powerful, influential, but in our particular space where we're at in doTERRA, I mean, you're a leader, you should be anyways. If you have a downline, you should be leading people, and you should be listening to your leaders or learning from your leaders so that you can, again, be shaped into that leader that you hope to become. Okay, our upline leadership, they've got powerful influence. It's all good, I kind of liked it. Anyway, so our upline leaders can definitely have massive influence. My upline leaders have had massive influence on how I have been shaped. So go ahead and let me just show you my upline leaders. You guys all know them as Rod, Seth, and Courtney. Next slide. There they are. Okay. Now, I know that not everybody has 3 direct upline leaders that actually work really good with them in their businesses, but I've had that pleasure. And not only have I had that pleasure, but I've had really, really, amazing leadership from my leaders. They've really, truly shaped me. Now, really quick, I want to tell you just a minute. Dawn mentioned before that I closed my salon. It's 5.5 years that I owned it for 5.5 years. And it was a dream of mine to have that salon. I don't even know if it was a dream. It was one of those moments. Again, idea. Oh, you know what? I should totally open a salon. Okay, let's go do it. Right? Like that's kind of more of what happened. And everybody was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." 2008, same year that doTERRA was open. I opened my salon in 2008, October 1st, 2008. Market crashed. The gas price was like $4 something a gallon. It was like insane. Like, what was I thinking? But I did it anyways, and it was awesome. Now, oh my goodness, about 3.5, 4 something years later, I don't know what it was. I was at a leadership retreat. I don't know why I'm talking about you again. Why am I doing this? You're like right there. I'll get to that. Anyway. Rod, actually, I was leaving, bye, you know, and he like gave me a hug and he pulled me in and he said, "It's time to close the salon down." And I'm like, what? And he's like, it's time. You have your dreams and your goals. They're something that can be much bigger with doTERRA. And if you want to open a franchise of salon, put it on the back burner, go build doTERRA, and you can do something much greater and better in this case. And again, monologuing anyway, but those words, I had a 2.5-hour drive home after that, and it was not a dry face kind of a drive home. To be honest with you though, it took me about 1.5 years to decide. It took me 1.5 years to finally decide, you know what, my goals and my dreams really are bigger, and I think that it was just a matter of letting go of something that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into and being okay with that. But it was a sacrifice at that point that I was willing to make because I was ready to step into a new space. And so that was definitely a very profound moment for me. Anyways, these leaders of mine, though, they have been absolutely influential. Courtney has been with me literally side by side, and bless her heart, she is so patient with me. Anyway, so I think that it kind of gave it away, but that's okay. I have dubbed my leaders into other people. Because I think that they have secret identities, and I'm pretty sure that I've nailed on the head of who they actually are. Janet, next slide. Okay. I've told them this before, at least Rod, because I just happened to be talking to him in a March, a leadership retreat, and I said something like, "You're Master Oogway," and you know what he said? Who's that? I'm like, you haven't seen Kung Fu Panda? And he's like, well, I don't know. He just saw Rudy like a few weeks ago, right? So, got to get Kung Fu Panda out and bust out with it. And he'll totally, if you haven't seen it, you'll totally understand why this is you. Okay, now, look at Shifu. Is that not Seth? That's Seth. And then I was thinking, all right, well, yeah, Courtney, of course she's Tigress. She's totally, hardcore, too, super sexy, awesome leader. She's out there, yeah, okay. So this is why. Okay, how many of you have had a conversation with Rod? Personal conversations, okay. He makes you think deep for, hours. And it's not always dry eyes. But he makes you think, and he's deep. So he doesn't talk a lot. In fact, when you're talking to him, you're usually one. Do you ever find that you're the one doing the most talking? And you're just like, blah, 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 and he's just like, uh-huh. And then, and there are times that you'll ask a question, then he answers your question with a question. And you're just like, you're supposed to give me the answer. But, the reality is he's just so full of wisdom, right? He's just deep. Meditation. I don't know if you meditate, but Shifu does, or Oogway does, so you should get into that. Anyway, but he really can strike a chord with you, and he can really make you think and get you to look at yourself in a deeper level. Now Seth, he's the same way, except for he gets a little more frustrated than Rod does. I'm pretty sure if Kung Fu Panda wasn't a children's movie, there might be cuss words in there, and if so, then it'd be uncanny with Seth and Shifu. But there was one time I remember that with Seth that he was asking me about why I do doTERRA. Does anybody ever get that question? Why? Why do you do doTERRA? And does it ever tick you off sometimes? I just want to do it, okay? I want to be a diamond because I just want to. Anyway, so he was actually asking me, why do you want to do it? And then I'm like, well, I want to go out and serve and in this capacity. And he's like, but why? And I'm like, because, blah, 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 why? And you know what he said? He's like, I don't believe you. And then I started crying. I don't know why I get around these two and I cry. That's why I avoid you most of the time, just so you know, if I don't talk to you, because I'm like, I just don't have time to redo my mascara. So I just don't. Just kidding. That's not. Anyway, but in a lot of ways, like Seth, it's in that sense, I feel like, he really also wants to get you to learn that. But Seth is really good about teaching skills too, right? He's really good about teaching the duplication system and all of that. And he really has this passion. Shifu has tons of passion. He has so much passion. And so I dubbed him that way because it's just right. And again, Courtney, she's passionate as well, but she's determined, she's focused. She has compassion. She has empathy. And there's so many, I could literally just go on. Now, when I think about the last 6.5 years of the journey that I've been on personally, and with my leaders being who they are, I'm pretty positive. Go ahead and turn the slide. Janet, you got it? Okay. That this is who they've been working with for 6.5 years. This guy, and exactly in that way. And you saw me dance, right? Okay. But honestly, this is sometimes, does anybody actually feel like this? I totally didn't write any notes on this. I'm going to have to like come from my heart on that one. Dang it all. Anyway, sometimes I think that this is really what they're like. When they get off the phone with me, they're like, inner peace. Inner peace, like, all right. But no offense, but it might be the same for you guys too. After they get off the phone with you, they're like, inner peace, inner peace. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, actually, not really. I'm not actually kidding at all. Because again, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about here. Okay, so Kung Fu Panda Po. Okay, Po. He gets in there and he's like, all right, gonna do Kung Fu, and he's like, has his view of how he's going to do it and how it should be, right? And he's in there thinking like, all right, I've got my own ideas, ideation, right? These ideas of how this should be, and then like Shifu and Oogway and Tigress especially was like, what are you doing? Like, you got to learn the skills. You got to learn like the techniques of Kung Fu, and he's like, yeah, but like to watch this, and he does some crazy thing, hurts himself, you know. Falls, fails every single time, and then Oogway like takes him, you know, Shifu like takes him meditate. Okay, that's usually Courtney, though. Courtney's usually the one that brings me back to my like. But there have been several times that I've had conversations with each of my upline leaders that are just like, Jody, you've got to like get it like straight and narrow. Okay, get back on the scales, the path of where you're supposed to be on. I get a little unfocused. I'm not sure if anybody has caught on to that yet. People that know me best, have I ever been unfocused? Okay, next slide, please. So what I've discovered, though, is that this is really what it comes down to. Searching for what's deep inside of you is a process. Sometimes it takes someone asking you why 100 times to finally get to the root of who you are and what you want most. And isn't that true? Isn't it true? And it may be in a different capacity, but that's one thing that my leaders have. And they ask me why, or they've tried to keep me on this this line of, you know, teaching me skills and teaching me how to do this business professionally. You know, this is one of those situations where I feel like the question asking and all of the mentoring that goes along with it, our leaders are only trying to shape us. Their intention is to not change who we are. Their intention is to shape us who we are. Help us to become better, to be stronger, get deeper within ourselves, to find out what keeps us moving forward, right? And why we're building this business. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. So I use this analogy a lot, and some of you might have heard me say it before, but when I get a new recipe that I like to try Pinterest, right? All right, like I'm like into smoking right now, so I like to smoke all of the meat. My husband wants to smoke soup. So I'm like, all right, let's get a recipe for that, you know? Actually, I was like, you can smoke soup. All right, apparently you can. Anyway, so the recipe, when I find a recipe, I usually follow the recipe exactly the way the recipe says. The first 3, 4, 5 times, until I've really gotten the recipe down, you know, when I've gotten it to a point where I'm like, all right, I really got this, I've nailed this. But then, when I've gotten to that point, then I decide, you know what, like I like different flavors in here, maybe some different herbs, or maybe like I want the bread to have some rosemary in it, some, you know, whatever kind of flavors, new herbs or whatever to have enhance the flavor, but to my liking, to my way. So I take that recipe and I'll kind of manipulate it in a way that becomes my recipe, but at the same time, I'm still using the base foundation of the recipe. So nothing's necessarily being altered, but sometimes I'm just adding a little twist or a little bit of my own spice to it, right? That's how, in many cases, that we can really build our business. Go ahead into the next slide, Janet. Okay, so this is our basic recipe with doTERRA, okay? If you don't know it, learn it. There's groups out there, we've got Launch to Elite and the Quarter 2 programs and things like that are out there to help you get to know these programs, to be trained on them, to be skilled. You have leaders who are also skilled at them to give you the basic foundation, the skills. These are those skills I was talking about. These are the ones that my leaders have had to like keep me on track with, because usually I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what I could do? And like I go off on this thing, reinventing the wheel kind of a thing, and they're always like, Jody, what are you doing? Anyway, but the basic skills, this is the basic recipe for success for your doTERRA business. Now, you get, I'm not going to go through the whole entire thing because that's not part of my presentation. But when you think about this particular recipe, this is the basic skills, the basic recipe that's going to help you get there. Now, if you think about how many people you've seen do this or like teach about it, right? If you're not, you need to be online, because this is a fairly new system, but it's not a whole lot different than what we had before at the Edge system, okay? It's pretty basic main components of it. So, 5, how much? Oh, I'm good, I got it. Okay, anyway, so I totally just like got off guard. Let me get my train of thought back. Not everybody teaches this exactly the same way. Now, the concepts are exactly the same way, but usually there's a little, words that are different and flair, the energy or whatever it is that's different with the way they teach. Now, when I was a cosmetologist, I still am a cosmetologist. That's like there. Anyway, I would go to these cosmetology shows, okay? And they would teach how to cut a bob or an A-line, right? Or layers or whatever it was. And like you can imagine that like the same result of whatever cut that you had, there's several ways to cut that hair to that. The end result was the same, a bob, right? I can't tell you how many times I learned how to cut a bob and it was all different. So the bob, what I would do is I'd watch the artist on stage and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go and try it. What am I doing? I'm going to take it and I'm going to go try it. And I'd go and I'd try it. And then I would learn something else from another artist. And they would maybe cut it in this other way, or the layers or something. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take that and I'm going to go try it. I'm going to get good at that. And then same thing several times, until at some point that I would take the different ways of what other stylists were doing and I would turn that into my own creation. Now, again, the goal is the same, the foundational part of the recipe of the haircut, whatever, if you want to go with that analogy, it's the same, but I was then able to put my own twist to it, so it became my own creation, my own work of art. And that really is how we can, that's how we can use this duplication system as well. And this is how you can build your business, because here's the thing, nobody's telling you who to be and how to do this business. We're just trying to teach you the skills, but you are the ones who can go, you still have to put your spin to it, right? This is your creation as well, and it's very open to that. Okay, next slide. All right, so what's the secret to achieving your goals? I want everybody to take out your phones right now, please. Even though you were told to put them away, if they're on, you don't have to take a picture of that, but take your phones out. And then I want you to turn your camera on. Phones, people, phones. Good, good, all right, I see phones. Okay, take your camera out, flip it around so you see yourself, and then take a picture. Big cheeser, and you're gonna hashtag this on Facebook later on with "This is me," hashtag "This is me." You can put like @Jody Ashford or something so I can see it. Okay. Are you taking funny faces? Like, nobody's on Snapchat with filters, right? It's all right if you are, because that's just who you are. All right. You're taking your picture. Now, Janet, you can go to the next slide. What's the secret to achieving your goals? You're the secret. You are the main component. You're the secret ingredient to building this business. You're the secret ingredient to actually taking a sample to a new customer, new prospect, and inviting them to a class, and then going through that whole duplication process. Has anybody here, I guess I'm not going to ask that question, I was just going to ask if someone here has not enrolled someone, and that's not even important, I'm not even going to ask that. But if you are, and you know that that's you, you haven't really actually stepped into that space of running your business or starting your business, I want you to ask why you haven't done that. What is it that's holding you back? Is it something about yourself that you don't like? Maybe some limiting beliefs, because we are in a business that helps with personal growth and development. But again, it's not about like completely changing who you are. I mean, there's many things of changing it's just shaping you, right? But there's probably something that's holding you back. You just got to find out what that thing is, and then we just work with it and learn from it and so on. All right, so I'm going to end with this. We have 10 key points to becoming authentically you. First, the one is to get surrounded by good people. Why? Because good people that you're surrounded by are going to help you and support you in achieving your goals. And they're also going to be okay with your crazy. Okay? All right, next one is accept compliments. Why did I put that up there? Accept compliments. How many of you actually get a compliment and you're like, oh, no, you just say that. I know some people in this room that do that. I won't pull my fingers. But really, if you have a compliment, someone gives you a compliment, what do you say? Thank you. You guys, open up a little space in your heart, somewhere close to your heart, in the heart vicinity, top, bottom, northeast, southwest, I don't care. Just open the space in your heart to start receiving the compliments, to start receiving the good vibes that people are trying to pour into you. Open up that space and let it expand. When you let that expand, it allows you to have more of that come to you, and all of that yucky, gross stuff that's holding you back from whatever you want to accomplish, it will overpower that so that you can maybe take a step forward. Open up that space. So if someone, first of all, I'm going to give you an assignment today. First of all, you're required. You're required. There's going to be a pop quiz later. Anyway, I want you to give a compliment to someone today. And when you receive that compliment, what are you going to say?
Thank you.
Thank you. I have power away, but I could talk loud because I'm loud. I tried out for cheerleader when I was in junior high. I'm still loud. Anyway, okay, good enough. All right, so give a compliment and accept a compliment. Learn to accept that. And do not be that person that's like, oh, you're just saying that. You're pretty. Oh, you're just saying that. Yes, you are. You are pretty. All right. Okay, next one, be open to learn. Okay, this is a really huge one. Be open to learn. Learn from books you read. If you're not reading books, open one. They'll teach you something. Learn from today. Learn from leaders. Learn from your mistakes. Learn more about who you are and be okay with life's experiences that what life has to teach you. Learn. Seek openness for that. Okay, next one. Be willing to do hard things. Get out of your comfort zone. Give the sample to someone. Make the phone call. I should be talking to myself. I might have to rewatch this later on. Take my own notes. Just kidding. All right, be willing to do hard things. Again, get out of your comfort zone. Stand on stage and talk. We'll have lunch later on. Anybody who wants to come on stage and pretend you can do that. I remember one time at a leadership retreat, they had like the little podium there, and I was like, I want to go, like it was finished, but I was like, I'm going to go stand up there and pretend like I'm talking. And then a whole bunch of people got in line after that and did that. See, I led the way. All right, okay, next one, never be ashamed. How many of you sometimes just really shame yourselves? Just ashamed. You're ashamed. You're ashamed of maybe where you came from or what you're doing, or you're ashamed that, you're embarrassed about something that maybe like a mistake that you made. It's a shameful thing. No, it's not. It's experience, a lesson to be learned. Don't be ashamed, okay? Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of anything. Don't shame yourself, because the thing is that we're all learning. We're all trying to progress. We're all trying to get better. Don't shame yourself. Forgive. I've had to learn this one now. This is a lot. Forgive others. Let go of the energy that is stopping you from forgiving. Open up, let go of that energy. Okay, you don't need time spent on that kind of energy. Forgive those around you. Forgive people who have hurt you in the past. Forgive your upline leaders if you're mad at them for something, okay? Forgive yourself. Forgive your leaders. Forgive me. I'm not perfect. Anyway, all right, so forgive yourself, because that really is the biggest part right there, because if there's a lot of things out there that you may be holding a grudge even on yourself, find out what it is and forgive and let go. Okay, next one, have massive gratitude. Why? Because gratitude is a major thing, and if you do not have gratitude, then you need to find it. Okay? In my personal opinion, ingratitude is the problem, or lack of gratitude is the problem with basically our country today. If more people had more gratitude, think of how it would be. But that's not really the whole scenario what I'm talking about. But I am talking about just be grateful for what you're doing, where you're at, the accomplishments that you did take, or the journey that you're on. And so much gratitude. Make a list, 1 through 25. Tomorrow, that's your assignment, 1 through 25. What are you grateful for? Next one, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to get out of the box. Give yourself permission to speak up. Give yourself permission to grow. I'm giving you permission now. I had to actually have permission from someone once, from something like this, and I was just like, I just have never had permission. They're like, well, I'm giving you permission now. Like, okay. It's okay then. I can take that. All right, trust. Trust in your products. If you're not a product of the product, become that. Trust in your leaders. Trust in your team members. Trust in God. And trust in yourself. Trust you. If you make a mistake, that's okay. And last and not least, but love yourself. Next one, now. To start loving yourself now. This is probably one of the biggest things. Love yourself now. You took a picture. Everybody now has a selfie on their phone if you don't already. Look at yourself and love you now, not later, not for who you're going to become later, but love yourself now. You love yourself now, that will help you grow, and you will just start to blossom and become who you're meant to be. Now, real quick, that's the end of my fun stuff. I actually, on the airplane, had this thought and was totally just like, whoo, I get ideas, like right at the last minute. Sometimes my mom always says, Jody flies off the seat of her pants, so she does things the best, and it's totally true. I'm just like, all right, you guess what, I totally had this thought. This whole entire event was actually planned last minute, that's why it's awesome. Just kidding. My last minute thought was this. On the airplane, so I didn't actually have time to prepare, but we decided, even as a group, that as planning this event, that we wanted to give out to five individuals a book. Do you have the book? It's all right. Now, here's the thing. We don't actually have the book because I went to Barnes & Noble and it was like twice as much as what I can get it from Amazon. So the book's going to be delivered to those who wins, okay? The Clifton Strengths Finder book, okay? 5 people are going to get this. It has a code in there. If you've already taken the assessment, please gift this to somebody else. Please gift that assessment to somebody else, okay? So 5 people. I'm actually going to draw 2 people right now. Do we have the jar? The drawing jar? Who's got the jar? Awesome. Okay. We need 2 people. Now, this is how professional this is, but your business, it's my business card, okay? This is your certificate, like official Clifton Strengths winner certificate, and you will need to text me on the phone number in front and let me know your name, and you're going to tell me your address, okay? You're going to give your name, your address, and then you will be receiving this book within the next week, okay? Okay. How exciting. I get my hand stuck. I don't know that first name. Tate. Last name is Tate. Kayla Tate. That was meant to be. welcome. Alex Sutler. There we go. I'm actually, you know what, later on we'll do it, but right now we're kind of having issues. I think we might be okay with some live stream going on, but we are going to do one or two of them also for people who are online. So make sure your people are watching so they can have a chance, because they have to be online today to be able to watch or to get that, depending on the situation. Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity to stand before you and to talk. I really appreciate this, and I hope that the rest of your day really is just amazing, and I hope you get something out of it. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Jody. I appreciate that very much. It's kind of a proud parent moment for her mother and I to see her up on stage. So it's been an awesome journey and an awesome ride with her. I'd like to introduce our next speaker. It is Janet Ellis Marquez. And Janet is our resident firecracker. You know, this is what I think of Janet. You get those little tiny itty bitty firecrackers and you light them, but if you put them in a string, how much it goes, well, that's what her and her team have done. They have created this big bang in this area. And Janet is a diamond with doTERRA. She's a wife and a mother, and she is a mother to 4 3/4. And we are looking forward to this next baby boy to be joining her. I think I've known Janet for 6 years, and I don't think I've known her not pregnant. So I just truly love her and Bernie and how they have taken the time to include our team in theirs when Jody moved to Ohio. And then there's some team members on their team that have just really helped mentor me and help keep my team together. And I'd like to thank them for that. But we're going to welcome to the stage Janet Ellis Marquez.
Tough and ever be, 'cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in, 'cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? I am going to figure out how to strap this to myself while I'm talking to you. My maternity pants go all the way up, I just realized. So don't mind me. Whenever I teach classes like, the I Am Fabulous classes, we always have a rule that says you can't look at your friends' bellies, so just give me a minute. Oh, back pocket works great. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. As I was standing there looking at the group that we have, I'm just like, I'm in awe of you guys. And I'm one of those, I'm a strategic, futuristic gift. Maybe turn it down just a bit. Switch it. Okay. I'm a strategic, futuristic. And so when I look at things, I actually see them in the future. And I strategize on how to make that future thing happen. It's just something I automatically do. So I'm looking at this group and I'm like, wow, look at these faces. I know them all. I want to just go give you hugs and kisses. And if I wasn't dealing with live stream this morning, I would have. And after this, you bet I will. Because I'm also a wow, a woo. I love people. But when I looked at this room, I was like, I can see this room filled. I'm talking about momentum today. How to create momentum and sustain momentum and keep it rolling, keep it moving, don't shut it off. Because you know, so often we actually cut off our momentum. We get the ball rolling, we work, we push that rock, we get it. We're right there about ready for the rock to tip over the top of the hill and then just start rolling. And then we go, oh, this is too hard. And you sit down and the stone rolls back on top of you and then you have to roll it all the way up the hill again. Have you ever had that happen before? So today, I'm going to be specifically talking about how to just get that darn rock over the hump so that you can experience watching it like roll. And you just sitting back being like, oh yeah, this works. This is actually really fun. Watching people rise up and become what you actually envisioned that they are. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So we're talking about building momentum. I am using an example today that is the reason why I blame all my success in doTERRA is my family. My parents set a beautiful example of momentum, and I'll tell you why. So building momentum is all about building a family, and then that creates momentum. Go ahead. Bernie, for time's sake, go ahead and play that video. Yeah. This is a fun video, and while it's getting started, Seth played this at one of our trainings one time and called me the first follower, and I was like, heck yes, that is me. And so I've loved this video, and whenever I get down, I'm like, I'm just going to go back and watch that video again.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut, and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers, because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
And that's how you build doTERRA. That's the end of my presentation, see? It works. If you ever are doubting or questioning that momentum is possible, just start going like this. It works every time. Go ahead and switch. Okay, so now that we know that momentum is real, we have a few little steps and I'll be breaking those down further in my presentation. I want to introduce you to some of the most amazing people in my life. So if I had the little clicker, the laser at the top right there, that's my mom and dad. Isn't she beautiful? Oh, go back. And my dad, look at him, he's like a baby. So the story goes that they found each other. They both were dancing a certain dance that they liked, and they decided to dance together. They had a baby, and this isn't the first baby. Legine is actually the first baby, then Stephanie, then David, and all so forth. That's me. And you know it's me because all my babies have that same forehead. So they had that one leg, that one new builder just got broken and started, and then, oh my goodness, check this out. That's 9 legs. That's 9 kids they had. They just kept going. It was amazing. We have all of them, but look how that multiplied, see? Now they have that. Now that is the picture that was taken probably about 5 years ago. But I just wanted to show you how that has duplicated and duplicated and duplicated, children upon children. I don't even have a picture with all of them, but there's 32 grandkids. It works. Go ahead and switch. So I was thinking, if I were to plug my parents into the compensation plan of doTERRA, how much would they be making with this kind of duplication and momentum? So I did. I averaged it out. So 5, 4, 6, 7, 3, 2, 5. That's the babies that have been born to the family, and then we have 2 that haven't cracked yet. That's okay. But if we average it all out, that makes about 3.5 average builders that people that the builders that my parents are bringing on. And so if we were to take that down 7 generations, the numbers actually are really, really good. So my parents would be making $216,210 per month if they were maximizing the unilevel compensation plan. We can clap for that. What's even more impressive is that they'd be making $2 million, and I'm not even going to say the whole number because you can see it, but over $2 million per year. Okay? Now, you say, well, but they only have one line, and what if it stops? What if the momentum stops? What if people stop having babies? What if all those different things? What ifs? Well, just ask my ancestor Henry Thorne. I am on his 7th level, and he is maximizing compensation in all of those areas, and I'm sure he's a very happy man right now because he had 9 kids as well. Actually fought in the Revolutionary War. Amazing. Okay, so 5 things that I learned from my mom and dad about building a family, or about building momentum, duplicating down. Those are 5 things. So find the right person is the first one. You have to find the right person, right, Mom? You got to find that man with the blue eyes and the swooshy hair that can ride horses and drive a truck. I mean, he has it all. You got to find him. The second thing that she taught us is strategy, and her strategy for building our family was no empty chairs. Everyone's important. The next one is everyone having a responsibility, knowing what their role and their place in the home is, so the responsibilities to the family. The next one is having a purpose. And then the next one is, I love this one, and Mom used to say it all the time, many hands make light work. And there are ages and stages. Okay? Go ahead and switch. I'm going to explain these. So this one, so if anyone has taken the Nature of Success course, I'm going to be addressing 2 of the animals that we learn about in my presentation because they depict this so well, what I was taught. So finding the right person. What I learned from dating. Have you ever felt like building this business feels like dating again? It's like, oh. Okay, but what I learned from dating is that you will attract what you are. So if you want somebody that's like into rodeo and horses and all that, well, learn to ride a horse. You can go to the rodeos. You'll probably meet them. Okay? So you will attract what you are. In the Nature of Success course, there's the horse named Delgrat, and what that means is delayed gratification. If I married the first person that came around just because they could breathe, my kids would look a lot different. So be willing to be patient, to have this delayed gratification. And I'm going to be teaching you about unilevel compensation today and why that's so important and why we should build for that and how that sets us up for the future. And if you understand delayed gratification, you understand how to create huge money in this business through unilevel. Because in the beginning, it doesn't look like much. $2, $10, $5, $15. But when you maximize your unilevel, just ask Rod. I'm sure he'll be talking to us about this today, what it looks like when you actually maximize the full unilevel. So it's actually, Seth has quoted it as a diamond mindset. Someone that can put off what they want now for what they know they will have in the future. No doubt. Did you know doubt will steal your dreams? If that guy was up there dancing like this, like, woo! I hope people don't think I'm weird. Okay, I'm going to start dancing again. No one would have followed him. So you've got to have the faith and the courage not to doubt and believe that delayed gratification will always pay off. If you put off today, you will be repaid tomorrow for what you truly want. Okay. Next is no empty chairs. Oh, actually, can you go back? I forgot to say something about that. Okay, so when you're thinking about who am I attracting, this is something I'm looking for, is someone who can practice delayed gratification. When you meet a builder and they're constantly like, my paycheck wasn't enough. I'm doing so much work and I'm not getting paid. And they're complaining about that all the time. That's tough to work with. If you yourself are like that, if you have these moments where you're like, I just worked 20 hours and that's like $2 an hour. Well, in the long run, you won't even be able to match your hours for what you're putting in and how much you're being paid. So it's this idea of delayed gratification. It's an idea also. So something that I learned when I was in high school, we had the worst basketball team in the whole state of Idaho, except for we did beat the deaf and blind kids by like 2 points. So then that was my freshman year. My sophomore year, my freshman year, sophomore year, we had a new coach move into town. And our first practice was him just watching us play and going like this. And he walked up to me while I was shooting a free throw and he said, "You have the worst shot I've ever seen. How is this possible?" And I was like, "You're a jerk." But he said, I'll teach you. And so you bet delayed gratification. Then my senior year, we, after lots of hard work and lots of delayed gratification, my senior year, we were the first team to make it to state. I'm 4'11". Our other main player was about 300 pounds. She's freaking amazing. That girl could run the mile, but she has some disorders that made it really hard for her physically. And they wrote a newspaper article about we were the unlikeliest of all-stars. That's what they named the news article. But it was good. But the cool thing about it is that we were the first ones to get to the state championship in Richfield in 20 years. But then after that, the generation that came after us won 5 championships. 5. And I got to coach one of those teams, assistant. So delayed gratification is knowing that what you're doing now will pay off, and that's just another example. So when you're looking for your builders, look for someone who has this. If they've had an experience, if they've had something that they understand, I've had to practice the piano to learn how to play the piano. Whenever I see someone playing an amazing piece, I'm like, they've got Del Grat. Or if I see someone doing anything awesome, I'm like, they've got to have Del Grat. Because they have taken the time to learn the skill to actually be able to perform the skill well. And they know what it takes to do it. Okay? So look for that in builders and have that in yourself. If you have it, you'll attract it. No empty chairs strategy. What this in my life, so this is let there be no empty chairs. At this time I was playing basketball and I was busy. I was doing FFA. I was doing lots of different things, and my mom just said, she came to me and she said, I miss you at the table. Your chair's empty. I miss seeing you at our table. And it's not that she was saying stop doing basketball or stop doing all these things. She was just simply saying, you're important around our table. You have a job in our home. You're important, and we want to see you there. And so there were definitely basketball games or things that I missed, but there were also a lot of things that I just wasn't making it a priority to be around that table. And after my mom said that, I got to that table as often as I possibly could because I knew I was important. I knew I had a job. I knew my mom was looking for me to be there. And family prayer. I was going to be in that chair. This is a Janice Benson principle, too. She taught me about no empty chairs. So how does this apply in our doTERRA business? Go ahead and flip to the next slide. This is where we learn about the strategy of no empty chairs. There's been multiple times in all of the legs. We have 3 amazing, amazing builders in our organization. Stephanie Green, go ahead and clap for her. Kristen Fox, you're there where you stand. And Jessica Burke. And you guys are all amazing. These just happen to be my children. They're my front line. And so, there's been multiple and every single times in these legs where I watch these women pushing their rocks uphill. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, oh, please. Just keep going. You're doing great. I'm loving it. You're doing so awesome. I can see them sweating. I can see them hard. There's times where I even get on their rock with them and I'm like, let's go, let's push. And in each of these organizations, I've seen the moment where the rock goes over the hill and it starts to roll and momentum happens. Builder, come on, builder. There's been examples in every leg that has happened. And there's been something the same in each leg as that has happened. There's been some key things that I notice they're doing when that ball starts rolling. So I'm using Sarah Weg as an example today, but just know in every single organization there are examples like this. I'm using her because she's not here today, and I love her. She would be here, but she had other things, and so, she's not going to be embarrassed by me talking so many good things about her. So basically how it worked is there was me up here, the lone dancing person up here doing my dance. Stephanie Green came on, and she was like, yeah, I'll dance with you. And we were just kind of doing it, right, Stephanie? We were like, is anybody going to join us? Should we do the bum slide? Maybe they'll be attracted to that. Like, what? And then here comes Sarah Weg. This was when Stephanie was trying to sustain silver. She'd hit silver, but she was trying to sustain it, trying to keep it and be a solid silver. And then Sarah Weg came on, and I remember that first meeting in her house sitting around her table, and we were just like, oh, this girl's amazing. She's a diamond. I can see it. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then she started dancing with us, and she started doing these really fun classes, and she was super consistent. And then here comes Bethany. Where are you, Bethany? Here comes Bethany with her big smile, and she's like, hey, this is cool. Yeah, I can bring people. And then here comes Callie. Oh, I can bring people too. Awesome. Here we go. And then Haley. When Haley came, we're like, whoa, it's Haley. Welcome. Yay. Now we've got Melanie, and then another Melanie. That's 7 levels down. I want you to notice something about our compensation plan. It's 7 levels down. So how did she do this? What was the thing with that third follower? Just in the video when they say the third one comes on, this is now news. You can't not notice it. You get that third person and it's like, ah. So what did Sarah do that I noticed? And that I've noticed in all of these other organizations, when we find that third person, they believe. They see you dancing, and it's not a question whether it works or not. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm in. I like your dance, you're fun. Yeah, that works. And there's just no doubt. The belief is so strong. And then, man, she just had fun with it. You'd go to her classes and she'd have all these like treats set out, and she'd have this high energy, and she was just having fun. She was consistent. She had classes and classes and classes that she would say to these girls coming on, saying, hey, come, bring people, right, ladies? You probably can tell this story better than me. Hey, bring your people. And then here comes Bethany, and things are blowing up, and everybody loves it, Callie, and things are, everyone loves them. And so they're like, hey, do you want to do this business? Invite them to share, invite them to build. Because they have so many people that are coming and following them. They've proven themselves. They've had action that's happened. And so it's an easy invitation. I always say progress or success happens. Then you ask them to progress. Don't ever ask someone to progress when they have not had a success. They'll feel overwhelmed. They'll be like, what, you want me to do one more thing? But whenever, and I'm talking success can be anything. You get a call from someone saying, hey, Breathe just worked. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Hey, we should do a class. That's an easy invitation, because they're like, yeah, this stuff works. I could definitely tell my mom about Breathe. But you call somebody up and they're like, hey, yeah, so that Breathe didn't work. And you're like, hey, okay, well, but do you want to do a class? They're like, let me check my schedule. Okay? So when you invite someone to do the business, it's a much easier invitation when they've already had a success. They've already had some people come and enroll. It's a brilliant move. Rebecca Harmon did this really well too, when she with the salmon leg. I went to one of Rebecca's. She was traveling all the way to Salmon to do these classes, and I went to her on one of these trips, and it was like a Bible study thing. She nailed it. She rocked it. They had their drinks out and stuff like that. She was putting wild orange in the drinks, and everyone enrolled. And Rebecca was like, "Hey, so is anybody interested in doing this again? Is anybody interested in making some money?" Like, oh, brilliant. Okay. So invite them to build. I want you to take notice of this, though, that this is key. Look at how solid this leg is. I want to tell you. Bernie and I, diamond. Hey, go back. Sorry. Bernie and I, diamond. Stephanie Green, platinum. Sarah Weg, gold. Bethany, gold. Callie, gold. Haley, silver. Melanie just got started, but I'm sure she'll be moving soon. So this is a way to build leadership. Okay? Do you know what's really fascinating about this, though, that's really impressive about this team? Did you know Sarah Weg actually found Callie? Put her under Bethany. Do you know Bethany actually found Haley? Put her under Callie. Amazing group of women. Let's give them a clap. Okay, go ahead and switch to the next slide. Okay, so will this actually work, though? Like, if we really build, like, when we're thinking about one leg, bringing one person on who can find one person. Okay, so think about this. If you can find one person who can find one person, who then that person can find one person, who then that person can find one person, and you're like, oh, but what about my silver, my $50 bonus? Shouldn't I just put them all on my front line so I can get that $50 bonus? Yeah, if you want to get it 2 times, 3 times maybe. But if you really get this in your head, it's not that we don't build for our $50 bonus. It's not that we don't build to get these compensations that we have. They're awesome. Fast start bonuses and power of 3 bonuses and all these awesome things. We want to get them. But if you stick in your mind delayed gratification and understand that depth is so important, and your goal is to build that line, and you're looking for the next person to help that next person to help that next person, then you're building leadership. Okay, so does this really work? I just did the math, and mind you, numbers aren't my thing, but I was like, hey, let's just see. So I might have missed a few things, but I'm pretty sure I'm on. I checked it a couple of times. So will this really work? If you had 6 legs wide, each builder having just 2 legs, so that means you helped them taproot down, and then they went and they're like, hey, that was pretty fun. I could find a builder and then help them find their 4 down or their 7 down, depending on what rank you're going for. And that happened in your organization. You had 6 legs across, and you had each one at least that taprooted 2 legs down, and in that whole organization maximizing the compensation plan, you'd be making $4,704 per month just on Unilevel, if that was the only way that we were paid. Okay? If that's $56,000 per year, that's not bad. What if our only compensation was Unilevel? Do you think you would be more dedicated to filling it out? Yeah. And it's our largest checks. Where I'm at, my largest part of my check is my Unilevel. And we get so distracted sometimes with, oh, but I'm not going to get this bonus, or I'm not going to hit this rank, or if I just build your family. Build your family. And then build the next family, have the next baby, and the next baby, and it'll work, I promise. So if you had 6 legs, let's just take this to the next, that's just if you just had the vision of premier in your organization. So everybody in your organization, let's shoot for premier. That's 2 legs, right? What if you actually had them told them to shoot for silver and build 2 other legs, taproot 2 other legs down, okay? And that happened all across, 6 legs down, all the way down 7 levels, $42,000 per month. Not just 42,000, 42,888 per month. 514,000 per year. Okay, this is where it gets really fun. What if you actually set the goal in your organization for Diamond to have them build 4 legs? Let's just see. If you're maximizing your full Unilevel, $218,000 per month, $964 per month, $2 million per year. Can you see why Rod Richardson gets a Presidential Diamond check and he's a Blue Diamond? Because he gets this. Right, Rod? I'm not telling any lies, am I? Okay. That's a Presidential Diamond check just on Unilevel. When we focus on building people and building a community and building a family and helping each person feel special and important, it's amazing the payout that can happen. Go ahead and switch to the next slide. And I'll be buzzing through these. Okay, so the next one is teach them their responsibilities. Teach them their responsibilities. So let's just say you've got your 4 people here. So we'll say Stephanie Green is up in that top one. We've got Sarah Wegg, then Bethany, then Callie right there, okay? So the 4 hats, hopefully this isn't a new concept, but let's just say we've just brought on Callie has just brought on a brand new builder, okay? Or Haley's down there, okay? So, okay, I'm mixed up. I can't use names. Here's this circle. So the 4 levels down, remember they said 3 is news, and then 4 is where momentum is just happening. Okay, so if you all, 3 of you above, can really love up on this person right here and help this builder and all be wearing your hats for this builder, momentum, that's pushing the stone over the mountain, okay? So your builder's jobs, in the build phase down here, your job is to find people, teach people, and enroll people. Or learn how to do that from your trainer. Okay, the trainer's job for this person is the EDGE, to train. Do you know EDGE stands for first educate, then demonstrate, then guide, then empower. So if you're teaching this builder how to teach a class, first you're going to educate them. Hey, so we teach a class. Here's the tear pad. Stephanie's great at this. So is all 3 of them, Jessica and Kristen are all really good at this. So here we go. You're educating them on how to teach a class. Then you demonstrate them. You teach a class for them. And they see, oh, that's really simple. I can just read from the tear pad. Fantastic. Okay, G is then you guide them. You bring them in with you. Have them teach that class right next to you. You teach a bullet point. I teach a bullet point. Guide them through it. Help them to feel safe and comfortable with it. And then you have the courage to send them to college. and empower them to do it on their own. That's a tough step for a lot of trainers, to be able to just say, all right, you got it. You totally got this. I'm showing up and I'm going to watch you do it, and I believe in you. Go for it. And then you empower them to teach them, and then you help along the way. You say, that was really good. Let's try this new next time. Let's try this new next time. Or, it's at the edge. I love the edge principles. So it's kind of like you're the mother of this daughter. You're just, what does a mom do? They edge. They educate. They demonstrate. They guide. They empower. Okay? Then the next one is you lead, and leadership is all about consistency, right? Just keep dancing. Just keep dancing. Make sure you're doing it weekly and monthly, and just keep dancing, okay? Leadership, it's so important. So you're the grandmother. Think about the role of your grandmother. And when you can't talk to your mom because she's like making all these demands and these accountability things on you, and you're like, I just don't want to do points, you call grandma and you say, why do I have to do points again? And grandma says, well, let me just tell you. And you're like, okay, grandma, I get it. Okay, weekly and monthly events, and also mentoring. A big part of leadership is that leaders train their trainers how to train. So when the trainer calls up and they say, oh, this builder, they just keep having no-show classes, and I keep having to drive 2 hours to these classes and no one's showing up, the trainer says, interesting, can I introduce you to a little thing called Zoom? Can I teach you about this, or can I teach you about, or can I help you with this, or can I help you with that? Mentoring, okay? And then the last one is inspire. And inspire is like that great grandma. She's passed away, but you know about her. You know the life she led. You know she was special. You know her. You have her bread recipe. Okay? So imagine that this builder is just having a rough moment, and mom can't get to her. Grandma can't get to her. Guess what happens when great-grandma gives her a call or shows up in her bedroom? I think she's going to put together a class. You have so much power as an inspirer in simple things. The littlest log you throw on the fire can be the greatest spark for that daughter, that builder at the bottom. It can be the greatest spark. So you've got to believe. You've got to build belief. You've got to strategize. I mean, just one little call to this person that's struggling, where the mother and the grandmother have been like, oh, we've been trying everything. And then one little call from great-grandmother that says, hey, did you know I believe in you? And I love you? And you know what? I actually want you reporting your points to me. That inspires progress. The other thing about Inspire is that they've got to be progressing. You got to have your next baby. If you're an Inspirer, you've got to get your next leg going, because you've got to have some other examples to help this leg. It's really important that you don't get stagnant and be like, oh, this is so fun inspiring my team. Hit the next rank. Get it going. Get your next baby. Okay, go ahead and move on. Okay, having a purpose. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Basically, one of the ways that my mom did this for us is she made a family flag. She wanted all of us 9 kids to have a purpose, to have a reason why we were a family. We were the Ellises. We were the Ellis family. And when we went out, we all stood for something. We all meant something. And we knew they would be able to say, hey, yep, you're that Ellis. I had your brother just the year before. I know you're going to be respectful. I know you're going to be kind. I know you're going to work your hardest because you're an Ellis. My mom did this in a really simple way. She made a family flag, and she put a tree at the top of the family flag. And by this time, when I was born, the flag was tattered and torn, but I still knew what it was. I was number 7 of the 9. And she had a tree at the top and our family at the bottom, and that our job was to get to that tree. And that tree represented life. That tree represented love. That tree represented all things good, freedom, joy. And that our family's job was to be the type of person that was constantly holding to this rod, getting to that tree. And we stood for that. So I made a family flag because I enjoy peacemaking. That's our family flag. So we have this example of standing for something. Go ahead and move to the next one. So in your doTERRA business, there's got to be purpose so that your family that you're bringing on understands what they're joining. You know, and it doesn't have to be something huge. In the beginning, it was I needed an extra $500 because I was like, wow, that would be huge. I could probably go to Costco to get groceries. That'd be awesome, $500. And then that happened, and I was like, oh, maybe I could have a baby. Because by that time, I would say, Bernie, it's time for a baby. And he's like, I'm working 3 jobs and going to school. That's not happening. And so I told him, I said, well, if I hit gold, can we have a baby? And he laughed and he said, oh, sure. Yeah, well, then we did it. This is the 3rd baby after that commitment. So then the next one was that, wow, what if my husband could actually be a part of my kids' lives? So then my next crusade was financial freedom. I'd get out there and I'd say, you join my team, you're joining financial freedom. You're joining the same cause as the people that died for our flag are joined. That shed their blood, you're joining that. That we have the right to choose, that we have the right to choose our day, that we have the right to choose our life, that we have the right to do our passion, even if it's scary. Because God provides. And you guys remember? I'm like, financial freedom, 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 freedom. And I hold the flag, and that was my purpose for a long time. And then that tired my husband. And then this whole nother thing has come to me of it. All of those things are still really important, but then the last one here is Queen Bee leadership. This is another, when we were at the Nature of Success, this is when it hit me. And he was talking about the queen bee, the bee. If you were to take a queen bee who has a productive hive and you put her into a hive that's unproductive, give it a little bit of time and that hive is productive. Because of the who? Queen. The queen. And I was having all these ideas like, well, what if I'm not the one that's supposed to be awesome? What if my husband is? And what if I'm preventing him from being awesome because I'm awesome? And all these just dumb things. And then I heard that and I was like, I am a queen bee. You're a queen bee. You're a queen bee. And if you're a guy, you're the king bee. And this was just a huge breakthrough for me. Why you want what you want, what it is, and how are you going to do it? Go ahead and switch to the next one. There's a beautiful scripture in Proverbs 31. Read the whole thing because it nails a woman. Who can find a virtuous woman? For price is above rubies. Have you ever felt like you're not really worth much? No one's following you. You're not good enough. Woo! You are a virtuous woman and your price is above rubies. And it goes through and it talks about this woman who sells things and trades things and teaches her family and honors her husband, and her husband is known at the gates. And I'm like, nailed it. That's a queen bee right there. That's a queen bee. And in their end of it, it says her children will rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. And it lists all these beautiful things that she does. And I love that. And so one of the big things that hit me at the Nature of Success too was that through the program of how this Build Like a Mother program, this doTERRA, and the way that it's set up to have a genealogy and everything, the training ground that you're getting, one of those is to help fathers will teach their boys to be men. They'll be around for that. Do we need more men in this world? Do we need more men? Yes. And to do that, we need fathers that teach their boys to be men and that aren't stressed out and strung out and all over the place trying to just pay the next paycheck or pay the next bill or buy the next grocery. And they're not living their passion. They're not being creative. We need more creative men. And then those men teach their boys to be men. So this is my new purpose, is that when you join our team, you join it because, yes, you're going to have financial freedom and you're going to have all these amazing things, but the person you're going to become in the process, the things you're going to be able to do, the strengths you're going to develop, the mothers you're going to become, the wives you're going to become, the people that you're going to become in this process price is beyond rubies. The men you're going to influence in your life, and if you're a man in here, the women you're going to influence in your life, price is beyond rubies. No drama mama, let it go. No drama. Go ahead and let's move to the next one. This is the last principle. That's many hands make light work. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. I love this because I hit a huge level of success in my life. I never imagined I would have the success that I have had. And so I kind of hit that success, that final thing. Success is not final. We keep going. Failure is not fatal. We keep going. It's the courage to continue. And my mother had this. She had a vision of the family that she was going to raise, the children that she was going to have. And I bet at about 4, it was like, wow, this isn't fun anymore. But she knew the vision. She knew the family. And she had the next one. She had the next one. She had the next one. And then she had me. Yay! Thank you for keep going. Thank you for keeping going. Because she understood this principle. She'd go out and they would say, are these all yours? And she'd be like, yes, they are all mine. And they'd be like, how do you do it? I can't even handle my one. And she would say, well, here's the thing. Many hands make light work. Guys, the more legs you build, the more people you bring on, they lift the load. Many hands make light work, especially when you teach them their jobs and they do their jobs and their responsibilities. Many hands make light work, and there are ages and stages. So she didn't have all 9 kids at once. She had a baby, and then when that baby got to be 2, she recognized, all right, time to inspire another one. She had the next one. That baby got to be 2. She had the next one. And then so she was raising, and she was helping each person step into their next job by having the next baby. Okay, now I'm not saying everyone needs to go and have 12 kids. You all are inspired to have the family that you're having. This is just the example that I learned from. 5 minutes? Okay. And so understanding that in your doTERRA, go ahead and switch to the next one. In your doTERRA organization, you're going to have ages and stages. You're going to have one leg that blew up because you focused on it. You got your 4, they all did their job, momentum happened and blew up. Now you're inspiring, and that one's going to be big. And then you have your next one that maybe, you're just trying to get that 3rd one brought on. And so you're still pushing the rock. You're still pushing the rock. And then maybe your 3rd leg, you're enrolling. You're out there doing personal classes. Understanding that there are ages and stages, and you're not just going to have all this dumped on you at once. You learn how to manage it. Okay? So if you could just, in your books, write this down. If you're going for silver, put some names in. See what ages and stages you have in your team. So let's just say you have this whole leg filled out. Well, you're a great-great-grandmother in this leg. You're good to go, okay? Let's just say you have maybe 2 here. All right, that means you are a leader in that leg. So make sure you're leading that leg. What if you just have 1 right here? Well, that means you're a trainer in that leg. So you're going to learn all these hats, just like a mom learns how to carpool and fix dinner and keep her husband happy and all sorts of different things. We learn how to do that, and it gets to a point where it's not even hard. It's just who we are. It's what we do because we're a mom. Okay? Husbands are the same way. When you're out there, you've got the work that you're doing and the relationships that you're taking care of and the money that is coming through and all those different things. You wear different hats in your life. Benjamin Franklin had like 12. Okay? So understanding, map this out, find out where you are, and find out the next stage, the next thing that you can be doing for your team to help them fill out to the 4th level so that everyone has a hat, and then momentum happens and you build out that next generation. Okay? All right, so go ahead and switch to the next one. This is my last little hurrah. am so blessed and I'm so grateful to have learned and been raised by the family that I was raised by. And everyone has their story. And I'm so grateful for each story that you have because it's made you who you are. But I really, really love mine. I'm really grateful that I had a mom that taught me how to be a mom. I'm really grateful that I had a mom that started a making and baking business with me and said, hey, your job is to get on the phones and you're going to call the whole phone book so we have people to deliver these to. I'm so grateful that I had a mom that said, let's try and mow lawns this year. I'm so grateful that I had a dad who loved my mom and who loved us. I'm so grateful that I had a family. Do you know how many people out there don't have a family? They can join your family, and if you're not a mom yet, yes, you are, because you have a doTERRA business. And they need a father. You men are welcome, and you're needed. There's things that we can't say and that we can't do. That, man, Bernie will say it, and it's like, all right, done. Everyone's needed. Everyone has a chair. Everyone has a place. And Mom, can you stand? I'll tell you, this woman may not be a diamond in doTERRA, but she has a blue diamond son and daughter, a platinum, a diamond, a silver. She raised us right. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, what do you think of today so far? Hasn't it been awesome? It's been totally amazing. So right now we're doing a silver and gold panel. Everybody on the stage is silver or gold except for Mr. Bernie, who is a diamond in doTERRA.
Diamond in the rough.
A diamond in the rough, not he's diamond. So with that being said, do you want to just say your name and rank?
I'm Haley Dodero, and I'm silver.
I'm Bethany Maddox, and I am a gold.
I'm Holly Orgill, and I'm a gold. Callie Lemoyne, and I'm a gold.
Jessica Burke, I'm a gold.
Dawn Jackson, and I'm a silver.
Matt Harmon, and I'm a silver.
Tim Kreth, and I'm a gold. I'm not sure why I'm up here when it's my wife that's like the leader, but it's because I'm loud and annoying and she's quiet.
Okay, so we have a few questions. Unfortunately, it's a little bit, they cheated and they put their names on the cards. I was just going to ask at random, but they want to be prepared, so we may change it up. You never know. Just kidding. Okay, the first question is going to be for Callie. So you want to pass the mic to Callie. Oh, one more question. All right. All right, the question is, do you like to talk to everyone in your organization or just your front line?
Oh, I talk to everybody. We do a weekly call, so invite all of our team members to that. So we kind of take turns leading that with different topics. And I will get on mentor calls with my frontline leaders and their leaders and try to help wherever I can.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so this will be for Jessica. There's a bunch of questions. We'll just ask one for now. What are the top things you've done to achieve where you are?
What are the top things I've done? Well, I followed the EDGE system, so find, teach, enroll, and duplicate. I haven't given up despite many times wanting to, or even for a moment taking a step back for a second and saying, I just need to breathe. I liked Janet's presentation. I've just always looked for the next baby, especially, I think I love those ages and stages because builders will go through similar stages, and if you're a mom or a parent, you know that like during the teething stage, you're just like, you gotta go. I can't handle you right now. And so sometimes that happens with builders too. So if my babies were teething, I was looking for another one that I wanted to be around.
Very cool. Okay, so the moral of the story, look for someone else if they're teething. If they're whining.
Give them some Tylenol and find the next baby.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we can, got it. And do you dance often?
What?
Do you dance often?
I dance often.
Do you dance often like they do on the video?
Do I dance often?
Yeah, like how we're dancing to basically draw people in.
Yes, yes. Okay. I'm like, in real life, no. Anyone who's in here knows I do not dance often. But yes, I'm always looking for the next baby.
Got it.
I thought that was a question.
Okay, this is for Timmy. I am just starting. How do I approach people? How do I not overwhelm them?
Well, they don't call me the intimidator for nothing. So this is a really bad question for me because overwhelm is like my middle name. And I only put my name on there just because it was one that I thought was a decent question. I didn't know that they were going to be directly asked to us. So, but it's definitely been a learning process for me, the whole overwhelm thing, because I talk. And I can talk a lot. And I can give a lot of people a lot more information than they want. So, especially now, the more that I step into the actual role of being a builder and more part of the business and not just a support system for my wife anymore, I definitely have to tone myself down all the time. Because we kind of target very different things within the business. You know, Kelsey is just very, very supportive and kind and loving towards people, whereas I have trust issues with people, but the business side of things is very intriguing to me. So I can talk to people forever about the sourcing and the business structure and integrity of the company and blah, blah, blah. So when you tag team two different people talking two different sides of the business, it can get very, very overwhelming. So my approach is more let my wife take the lead. That's how I don't overwhelm people.
Fair enough. Well done, well done. Okay, this question is for Bethany. What have you learned on your journey to silver to get you to gold?
Okay, say that again.
What have you learned on your journey to silver to get you to gold?
Okay, so what I would say, my biggest thing that I have learned is personal development. And if you don't work on yourself, there's no way you can help others. So until you start realizing that you have to work within before you can work outward, I think you're going to get stuck. So that's been my biggest thing.
Okay. Let's see. Dawn, how many hours per week did you take to get your current rank on average?
Too many. I found out before I started really, yeah, I know you guys are going to faint, doing the point tracker. Yes, I do it. That I was spinning my wheels. So now I have set times, and I am spending about 10 to 15 just with my team. And then the rest is building, and I still teach my own classes, and I still try to enroll my own people. So I probably spend more hours just because I'm not working every day anymore. This is my business, so. And I have no children at home to tease. I just have a row down there that does. But I don't give them Tylenol either. I just oil them up and send them on their way.
Very good. Okay, this question is for Matt. If you have kids, how have you incorporated them into your goals and business?
Okay. This might take me a second to answer because I'm going to lead with the story and then what I do. I learned a very valuable lesson from my children a couple years ago when I was recovering from an accident and I needed to strengthen my leg back up, so I started jogging because I was a runner in high school. This is a runner's body. And there was one particular really bad day where I was out jogging and I was trying to run a mile and I was trying to get it done, and I wanted to quit so badly because I hurt so bad. My leg that had gotten injured had atrophied to half the size of my other leg, and as I'm trying to jog, I was getting ready to quit. I had all those emotions in my head: just quit, just quit, just quit. Nobody will be upset if you quit. I don't need that Kleenex. But my son comes running up and just starts cheering and cheering and cheering for me and running along. And then my daughters are cheering. How do you quit when your children are cheering for you? You can't. So now that I've joined the business fully and am working on quitting my job, we incorporate our children into our goal setting, into our nightly routines. When Rebecca used to go out to teach a class, there was always the, "But mommy," and it's like, okay kids, but tonight we can have pizza and hot dogs and ice cream because mommy's gone. But that's runner's body right there. But no, we end up, what worked really well for us is we have a nighttime routine where we meet into the office, we do our scriptures, we do our prayer, we do our goal setting, and we included the children in our goal setting so they know why mommy's leaving, and they know why daddy's leaving, and they know what they're cheering for. And then if you give your children an assignment to help with that, then it just makes it that much more powerful. Because how can you quit when your children are cheering for you on your way out the door instead of crying for you as you're leaving?
Thank you. All right. This question's for Holly. What ways do you break through fear? Fear.
Fear is never something you ever really get over, I don't think. One big theme for me has been gratitude. You can be grateful for your fears because they help you to learn new things. And vision, I guess. When you have something that you want so badly and you know the reason why behind it, it helps put things into perspective and helps you to work through whatever fears that you have. I mean, if it's fear of contacting someone or fear of rejection, that was a big one for me. Fear of failure. At first I thought failure was this like carnal sin. It was like this terrible thing. And I had to realize like failure is this beautiful teacher that comes up all the time that I just learned from and I'm grateful for. So gratitude, vision, and your why.
All right, thank you. And Haley, what do you say you do when people ask what you do?
Say that 10 times.
Say that 10 times?
Yeah. Right. I say that I go back and forth. I say I'm an essential oil educator, or I say I'm a healthcare educator. So I kind of go back and forth with that one. So.
Okay. Awesome. All right, this is for the dudes. Oh man, here we go. As a dude, how do you do doTERRA? Or how, as dudes?
All right, I'll take this one first.
What your wife tells you to do.
Yes. Well, first you take your man card out of your pocket and you put it back because doTERRA is for men. doTERRA is... There is nothing wrong with wearing purple. No, I've got some of the manliest men on my team who have essential oils in their welding boxes, in their work boxes, in their mechanics boxes. I carry my On-Guard beadlets with me at work, and everybody asks me for them because the men don't want to miss a day of work. So doTERRA is for men.
It's 2018. If gender selection can be non-binary, then can't we have the same freedom for business selection? You know, free to choose what we want to do. It's never really been a problem for me, just because I've always liked some girly things, I suppose, candles and whatnot. So as soon as my wife got a hold of me and said, "Oh, I just did this class with oils, like essential oils," and I was working on an oil rig at the time, and I'm going, oils, okay, whatever. Get home and they smelled good and whatnot, and I was like, this is me, you know. So it's just not any different to me. You know, with the guys, you take ibuprofen if you have a headache, or if you're in doTERRA, you frankincense or deep blue or peppermint, whatever your remedy is. You know, you got sore, achy body, you take Aleve, or you take deep blue. So there's really no difference in terms of health care. You know, I would say that I think that as a guy in the business aspect of it, in some ways it almost helps solidify things, you know, because I think that network marketing just kind of has a reputation of being like a stay-at-home mom type of a thing. Nobody really ever takes it all that serious. But then, you know, with the structure of doTERRA and how well it's doing, and people can see that, hey, wait a minute, like couples are actually doing this together as a thing, like, whoa, maybe this is real. So it's never been hard for me, but that's because, you know, as soon as we got into it, you already have Seth and Rod and David and all these other guys that are dudes doing it. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just add a little bit to it. Obviously, since I'm a dude and I get to work with my wife, one thing that's really helped me is just being able to learn about the business, and then as we've talked to other guys about the business, because a lot of times, you know, they're not really excited about the oils. You know, a lot of times they call it, you do sensual oils? I know, essential oils, okay? And so as I've talked with guys and really discussed the business, it's been amazing to see that there is potential, and then we get to talk a little bit about numbers and seeing the company and how secure it is. It's really been beneficial for us, so, okay. All right, a couple more questions. Let's see, Dawn, back to you. Okay, what do you do, why do you do doTERRA, and what keeps you going?
I will share just a little bit about this in a minute when I introduce Seth, but I do doTERRA because it's a way that we can have some financial freedom. Jody kind of touched base about a little bit, but in 2008, we basically lost our retirement due to the stock market. So that meant my husband, who is in his 50s, wasn't going to be able to retire when we wanted him to. And so I do doTERRA so he can come home, and so that my kids can enjoy the financial freedom that I have. On our team is all of Jody's sisters are there, and they're not all building, but they're all supporting, and they're all helping us. But it's a family thing. And my why is for me. It's just personal. It's mine. I thought it was selfish at one time. My why used to be to get Diane and Lacey and Anna, and now Amber, to Silver so they could have that financial freedom, and a couple others that aren't able to be here to have that financial freedom. And Courtney and Seth had to come down on me and say, you need a why for you. That can't be your why. Yeah, you're going to help them, but you need something for you. And so I actually bawled while I wrote on a card that said, I will be gold, because I had never wrote that before. And I never dreamed of me being a diamond, because all I wanted was silvers. And now it's Diamond and beyond for us, for our family, so we can do the things that we want to do and travel and be the family we want to be. Because with 6 daughters and 19 grandkids, it's going to be a blast. So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have 2 more questions. We'll go to Callie. Let's see. How do you feel or deal when you don't have a supportive spouse or partner?
So, in the beginning, my husband, he never told me, no, you can't do this, because I'm pretty hard-headed. And my own mother, who actually is here today, doesn't even tell me what to do. So I'm pretty independent, and it took me a little bit to get on board, and anyway, to build this business. But when I jumped in, you're gone a lot for classes. And I got consumed by doTERRA. I'm one of those that can't shut it off. And in the beginning, I would get that guilt of, well, like, we ever see you and that type of thing. But I just kept going. And he is my biggest supporter now. But I would just suggest that if you're dealing with this, you need to ask yourself how bad you want it and show them how bad you want it. Because it's not just about you, because it's going to impact their life too. And I think then they'll make the decision to match your change and growth and partner with you. But you have to really dig deep inside yourself to find your why and your determination, no matter what anybody says to you.
Thank you.
I'm sitting on
And for those of you that know Tanner, obviously he is a big supporter. He's a big dude, so. Okay, Jessica, I'm going to wrap up with you. What do you do to celebrate when you hit that goal?
What do I do to celebrate when I hit?
And if you don't, what would you do?
If I don't hit my goal, what do I do?
No, if you hit your goal, if you don't celebrate, what would you do?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so we'll go back. What do you do to celebrate when you hit your goal?
Okay. This is something that I learned on a call in the Thousand Diamond Project. Courtney Moses was actually talking about this, and she was talking about how when we're going for a goal, we put these big things up that we're going to do once we accomplish that goal. And it's really important to actually do them, to celebrate, because you promised it to yourself and to your kids. And so there are times that you put in all the effort and you really go for it and you don't hit that goal. And it's just as important to celebrate the work that went into it, the growth, the progression, even the lessons that you learned. So whatever it is that you do to celebrate, like for us, when I hit gold, I had on my vision board that we were going to take a family vacation. And so we took a family vacation just a few weeks ago. And it's important, if you have those things that you said you were going to do when you hit Premier, when you hit Silver, and you haven't gotten around to them, you have to get it done. You have to do it, because you'll have the next thing and the next thing that you say is going to be your celebration. And sometimes we get caught up in wanting to go to the next thing and the next thing, but it's really important to actually enjoy the success that you're creating, and it's part of your why. So my why has to do with traveling with my family and spending more time together. So if I didn't do those things that I say I'm doing doTERRA for, then what am I doing it for? So I hope that was the answer to the question. Maybe it's way off.
No, perfect. We want to thank you guys for your vulnerability, being sincere. We appreciate and love you guys for what you do. Obviously, I hope it's been a good experience for you guys, and if you have more questions, feel free to ask them. So, thank you.
While we're taking down the stage, we're going to draw for a prize real fast, and then we will bring somebody on stage.
Hello, hello.
Okay, let's do a couple drawings. Actually, you know what, really quick, I don't think we've done this yet. Everybody that signed up for the registration before the cutoff of whatever date we set. Anyway, your name was put into a drawing to win the Emotional Aromatherapy Touch Kit for getting registered in a timely manner. So that prize was already drawn. We drew earlier. Melissa Owens. Nothing like putting you in an awkward situation to come on down, right? Okay. All right, we're going to give away a trim shake. What kind is it? Do we know? Congratulations. Chocolate? Chocolate? We like chocolate. Do you know you can make pancakes with the trim shake? And I just learned how to make crepes with them too. So good. Roxana? Nye? So, how are we doing this? Oh, right there. You can collect your prizes in the back. All right, next we are doing an On Guard soap, On Guard oil. Zeke. Congratulations, Zeke. I just met Zeke. He's a good man. And then one more. We will do Mackenzie. You win a pop socket keychain. What is that? Oh. Well, that's fantastic. Okay. Mackenzie. Who's Mackenzie? Where is she? Oh, well, okay. Apparently we need to teach Mackenzie how to win a prize. Woo! All right, okay. Next up.
Okay. This next speaker is extremely special to me. I first met Seth Resume at David and Julianne's home. It was then I made a commitment to build. You see, he was teaching a few of the crocodile principles. They're not known that. They're known nature of success. And he never once said, I want you to go sell oils. He was all about serving and putting the oils in the hands of every mother out there. He had integrity and he was genuine. No, not very many people know my husband, but he is very against network marketing, like adamantly against network marketing. He supports me 100% because he has never heard once, go sell anything. It's go teach and go love. Seth was first attracted to doTERRA because of its compensation plan. He had experience with another network marketing company that sold his projects and saw that doTERRA was different. He knew that doTERRA could fulfill his dream of residual income, allowing him to financially support his family. But it wasn't until later that he found a cause. So this is the first story I heard about doTERRA. Seth had a friend whose brother had passed away from an overdose of pharmaceutical drugs. This mother, he went to the funeral and he later met with the mom. And the mom said to him, how empowering would it have been if I would have had these as a young mother? Because every one of her children was on pharmaceuticals. And how horrible it was to bury her son. So Seth went home, and that's when he decided he was going to put an oil in every home. And that is why we are here. Seth has a better half. Her name is Jenny, and she is one of the most amazing leaders in doTERRA. She doesn't call herself a leader, but we certainly do. Together they have 4 children. Their oldest is serving a church mission, and the 3 are at home with them while they're living their dream of what they want to do. I don't know if you follow Seth on Facebook, but if you do, you'll see pictures of him playing in the snow. And he just absolutely loves to snowmobile, and one of his dreams was that. And so with that, we're going to introduce Seth Resume.
This is a longer way up here than I anticipated. and I almost fell coming up here. So, I'm going to ask you to have that mic available because I'll be asking some questions out here, if that's okay. So I just want to point out, like this right here, this picture, that's Rod Richardson and Adam Kopp in the Sydney, Australia harbor. We're right by the Opera House. That is the picture that Rod took of me when we were on the Cliffs of Moher, otherwise known as the Cliffs of Insanity, to those of you who are Princess Bride fans. And we were like doing yoga on those, you know, that was Warrior 2 or something. And then, and I just, you know, I didn't know that this slide was going to be up here. I didn't make it. But I was looking at that and I just thought, my word, doTERRA has taken me all over the world. And I just got back from Brazil on Wednesday. And you know, and Rod Richardson has been to most of those places with me. And you know, before I got into doTERRA, I'd been in the corporate world for a long time. I had always owned my own business, and the company that I owned before this was a software company. And I owned a marketing company. We had a pretty large operation going on. And when I was in that world, I remember after the 2008 financial crash, everything that I had built up over my life was lost financially. One of my partners dealt with the financial loss in a bad way. The financial loss was so devastating to him that he really turned to his vices. And we all have our different ways of escaping, right? I noticed that my wife, for example, whenever she is experiencing hardship, she escapes in the Lord. That's how she does it. I've always admired her for that because I tend to try to escape in maybe snowmobiling, where I just need to go and get away, which is a great way to do it, by the way. I highly recommend it. But it actually turns her closer to her Maker, which has always been something I've been amazed at in her. One of my partners, however, he turned to his vices, and from that financial crash, didn't just lose everything financially, but lost his family. And so I was really blessed that I did not lose my family through that, because I think that financial pressure can lead to that. And I mean, it sucked. It was terrible. We weren't, you know, by the time I actually decided to build doTERRA, I'd gone 1.5 years without taking a paycheck from my own company. After that 1.5 years, in that time, I hired a CEO, a guy to come in and help take that company public and so forth. And we put all of our dreams and hopes into that company. And I remember when I presented to this guy, we were trying to get him to invest money into our company. And so I was presenting to him the vision of this company that I had created and where we were going with it and the future of where that company could be. And he loved the idea so much that he didn't invest, but he did invest, but he said, but actually I want to be the CEO of the company. He was super impressive. We hired him in, and I trusted him all along the way. He would say, hey, we need to restructure the company so that we can get it ready to go public. You bet, whatever you say. I need you to do this because if we do this, it'll help us in this way. No problem. 1 year later, I remember one morning I woke up and I owned like 25% of the company, and the next day I owned less than 1% because of this really amazing thing he did. And I remember part of me was so full of anger that I would lay awake at night dreaming of ways of getting even. By the time I literally had the ideas go through my head of baseball bats and ski masks, I realized I need to change. I'm becoming a really bad person. And then that's when doTERRA became something really important to me. One of the biggest reasons I chose to do doTERRA is because it was so far in the opposite direction to what I had been doing and the people I had been working with, that I noticed that most of the times when I sit across a kitchen table from a mom that just wants to know how to put oils on their child's owie, there's no guile there. There's no one strategically figuring out how they can take over your company. It's just so authentically real. And I remember wanting to do doTERRA just because it was different. There's a lot of healing that takes place in doTERRA. We give out oils, and believe it or not, the oils do in fact heal, cure, and treat disease. And but you know what? The business heals and treats and cures you. You can't be successful in this business without embracing the ministry of healing others. And in the process of so doing, you heal yourself. You lose your anger. You lose your hatred. You lose your frustration. And it's replaced with love. This is one of the most beautiful things you could ever choose to do. And one of the things when I first started in doTERRA is I was always scared of changing. Well, I don't want to change. I don't want to do that because what if I change? I don't want to become too wealthy because if I'm too wealthy, I might change. Embrace change. Guess what? You need to change. You do. So do I. We all need to become better. The world needs us to be better. Our children need us to be better. Our spouses need us to be better. Our communities, our churches, our nation needs us to be better. For some reason, I'm getting an echo. I don't know if this is too... Right here? All right. No, I still hear it. And so, I didn't expect to go in this direction. I'm just in this, so I'll keep going with it, right? But, and so this is a really interesting journey that you're about to embark on. Many of you have been in this journey for a while, and you may find yourself coming up against all kinds of limiting beliefs about yourself, about others, and I'm just going to invite you to change. Embrace it. Don't fight it. If this is going to ask something of you, then give it, and you'll be so happy that you did. The company, that software company that I ended up losing, in its last valuation, it was valued at over $1 billion. And I remember actually presenting it to that dude and going, this company will be worth $1 billion. And I showed him how and why and how the market needed it and all these different things. And that company is no longer mine. And I thank God every day it's not. Because I lost that company, I was humble enough to consider this. And we sit in this room. I would give all that up for the relationships that I have in this room. Because really, that's what life is. Life is all about relationships. And the quality of your life can be determined by the quality of your relationships. And if your relationships are bad, life is bad too. But if your relationships are good, life is good too. And if you want to improve your life, improve your relationships, and if you want to have a more abundant life, create more relationships. And if you want to have a more joy and more fulfillment in your life, influence and be a good impact on as many people as you possibly can, and your relationships will grow. The 1,000 Diamond Project is a major focus of mine, as you may know. And I'm thankful for it. When I first started doTERRA, I remember thinking, if I could get to about $40,000 a month, that would do it for me. And so I did. And I sat at Blue Diamond for now, I think, 4 years or something like that. And in that time, there was about a 2.5-year period of time that was just straight up retirement. Now, when I say retirement, what do I mean? I mean, I probably put 5 hours a week into my business. I was on a couple calls. I would take a call here and there. But thankfully, I had learned from Rod Richardson how to build a business the right way. And so I developed all these levels of leaders. And I had my phone. I mean, a lot of times people, I know that in the phases that you're in, you're thinking, oh my gosh, the larger my team goes, the more my phone's going to ring. I won't have any privacy. It's going to be terrible. No, that's actually not true. The larger you grow your team, the more levels of layers and layers of leaders that are developed. And the phone calls that you receive are from the best friends of your life. It's not a big deal. I promise you, don't be afraid of success in this. And so I had retired, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. In fact, I mean, Rod and I, we'd go into our offices. We weren't working. I think the things we struggled with the most was deciding which matinee we were going to watch or what we were going to eat for food that day. And we just enjoyed being around each other. We just enjoyed being with one another. Then we'd say, hey, I have a team over in Ireland. Do you want to go? Sure, let's do it. Why not? Let's go. Do you want to take our families? Yep. All right, let's do it. Let's take our families. Let's go live in Ireland. Why? Because we can. And because we want to. And because maybe we can make a difference in people's lives in Ireland. That's what... I don't know if that sounds appealing to you, but it's pretty bad. Bad butt? I don't know. Anyway, it's awesome. Bad donkey? I like that. I'll go with it. So, bad burro. Yeah. Anyway, this is really going in places we don't need it to go. So anyway, hey, can you turn that off? Because, I mean, you've all seen that. I just don't want to have the light in my... Thank you. So that was retirement. And then, a year and a half ago, actually it's more than that. I guess it would be 3 years ago, my friend Brian King, he's not in doTERRA. He used to work for me years ago in some different companies that I had. And he was one of my top guys, amazing person. And he called me up and he said, hey Seth, have you ever heard of Operation Underground Railroad? And I was like, no. He goes, you've got to go look this up. And he described to me the sting operation in Colombia that saved all those children and they put however many bad guys in jail. And I was so enamored by the idea. I'm like, you're kidding me. First, I was appalled to learn that you could go to Colombia and act as a buyer of children and have people bring 25 kids so that you could have your sexual way with each of them. I was blown away that type of wickedness even existed in the world. And he goes, and he was describing it to me, and he actually was choking up on the phone describing it. And I remember thinking, this is real? So I went to the website and I watched the video. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. This is okay. If there's one thing that I could give my life to and feel good about about myself, it would be saving children. And so I remember thinking, man, I really want to do this. And then I was thinking, but how could I get involved? I mean, maybe I could go on some of these stings. And I could be like one of those bad burros that like that would be there with with the kids and go in and like kick some butt and be the guy, you know. And then I remembered a moment in my life where, you know, you watch action movies and you kind of think, I would be like one of the heroes. I would be the dude out there with no fear, running around, you know, whatever it is, roundhouse kicks, whatever you think of. And then I remember when I was like 18 or 19, I was mowing lawns for my brother-in-law. He had a landscaping business. And I ran into the house because I finished with my work that day, and I ran and took a shower, and they were all going to bed, and I was going to go and play with my friends. So I run outside, and as I'm shutting the front door, I look over at my work van. And there's somebody in the van with a flashlight. There's a thief in the van. And I'm like, I shut the door, and I look over there, and I'm like, what is that? And then it dawns on me, there's a thief in the van. And you know what happened? I was filled with fear. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I was just paralyzed by fear. Now, the images of me going in and doing roundhouse kicks was immediately taken away. Now, my brother-in-law's name was Bobby, and I'm trying to call for Bobby. But again, fear had choked my voice. And so while I'm trying to call for Bobby, this is what's coming out of my mouth. Bobby! 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 I couldn't scream out his name. And I'm like, what is, and I remember going, Bobby! Nothing would come out. And then at this point, the thief realizes that it appears that there's a deaf mute at the front door going, Bobby! Bobby! So then he starts to like sneak out the side door to get away. And at this point, my courage comes back and I start chasing him. And I'm like, hey, you know, and my voice comes back and everything. So then I was thinking about that experience and I thought I probably shouldn't go down there and try to get bad guys. Because I'd probably be like, Tim, Timothy. Anyway, so I'm like, no, that won't work. Like, what if we could raise enough money to save a lot of kids? Maybe I could do that. Because I'm not the bad burro I think I am. And so I was like, yeah, I could raise money for it. That's what I could do. And it was kind of one of those things where you'd kind of go, you know, I'm going to put my doTERRA business on the side and focus on an important thing in helping with these kids. And then a year and a half ago, I'm sitting at convention, and I can't believe my eyes as David Sterling is actually on a sting in California, I believe. And I'm going, is this really happening? And then they announced the partnership between Operation Underground Railroad and doTERRA. I remember just going, wow, this is incredible. But you know, Rod and I were really enjoying our matinee movie schedule, our wondering which restaurant, which cuisine reigns supreme today. We didn't, you know, and I had this voice come into my head, pure, crystal clear, so clear that you could swear you could hear it. And it just said, Seth, you could do so much more. And I thought about Rod and I's schedule. I was like, oh, Do I want to give up retirement? Then the voice came again. Seth, you could do so much more. And again. And again. I remember finally just saying, fine, what could I do? If I can do so much more, what could I do? And an image popped in my head of 1,000 diamonds. And I remember sitting there going, how do you do that? I had 13 on my team. How do you create 1,000? That became the topic of most of my pondering and thoughts. How do you create 1,000 diamonds? So I spent time praying about it, fasting about it, meditating, pondering. That one question. And I had a few thoughts come to my mind very clearly. I can always tell when it's not me. I used to not. It used to be something where I was always like, is that from God or is that just me? And I don't know if it's just age and experience, wisdom, I don't know. But now I know the voice. And when it calls, I don't question anymore. And what it said to me was, faith is the power that will bring about the miracle of 1,000 diamonds. And so I'm here to implore you to believe. I encourage you, believe. Because believe it or not, there will in fact be 1,000 diamonds on this team. And many of you will be them. Many of you won't just be a diamond, though. You'll be a leader of diamonds. The second principle, besides faith is the power, is love is the motive. Many times we have all these activities that we're engaged in this business. We call people, we invite them to learn, we give them samples, we teach classes, we enroll them, we follow up with them, we help them get on loyalty rewards, we ask them if they're interested in the business, we show them the business over. We teach them about it. We invite them to hold classes. They do classes. We show up, we teach the classes. We show them how to teach the classes. Then we got to show them how to do the membership or the leadership or the lifestyle overviews with the people that they're doing it with. And then we got to show them how to do the business overviews. Then we got to have monthly trainings. We have to have regional trainings. And we got to do all these things. And then we mentor the people too. Because some of them will need mentoring, and so we have to talk to them. Sometimes more than a lot. Sometimes it's daily. Sometimes it's multiple times a day. Sometimes it's hourly. Sometimes it's all the time. Why do you do it all? Why? If love is your motive, the work itself becomes joyous. You don't have to hate the work. You don't have to dread it. You don't have to fear it. You don't have to psych yourself up to do it. You just simply have to ask yourself, do I love this person? Yes, I do, so I'll call them. If you're wondering, if you're looking at your names list, you're trying to muster up the courage to give them a call and to invite them to learn more, and you can't find the courage, then ask yourself a question. Do I love them? If yes, call them. If it's time to mentor someone, or someone isn't going to do what you've asked them to do, they have not done it. They've come to a mentoring call, they committed to do this, they're not going to do it, and you have to call them up and have a hard conversation about how they're still not doing what they've committed to do, and you can't find the courage to do it, then ask yourself this question: do you love them? And if you do, then you're going to call them up, and you're going to ask them to do hard things, like close down your own salon. Love is the motive. It's the secret. It actually, the fact of the matter is that a lot of times people go, I just don't, I want to do the thing, I want to be a diamond, so I'm going to do all these things I hate. You're never going to be a diamond. Because in the process of doing those things, you start to love it. You start to see that you can be the answer to someone's prayer. You show up at a house full of people, and you walk in and very humbly understand that you've been sent there to be an answer to many of their prayers. That never gets old. It never gets tiring. I mean, I'm not saying you don't physically tire. I'm physically exhausted in this moment. But I'm just saying that my soul hungers to do it more. I want to help more people. The voice showed up a couple times on this trip to Brazil. It challenged me to learn Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. And I thought, that's a lot. Yes, but do you want to make a difference in the lives of those people? Yes, I do. So yes, I will. But they say that it's hard for old men to learn a language, and I'm getting old. Yeah, but faith is the power that'll bring about the miracle. And if you believe, anything's possible. And I want to be a part of their lives. There's a whole continent south of us with millions, hundreds of millions of people that I can't talk to. That needs to change. For there are hundreds of diamonds down there too, maybe thousands. But is love my motive? Because if it is, it's the right motive. So faith is the power, and love is the motive. Another thing that came to me was find the diamonds wherever they are. I used to spend way too much time obsessing about the people in the right spots on my team. I don't want to find the diamonds where they are. I want them to be where I need them to be. Because if they were, I'd be presidential diamond many times over. I'd be double presidential. If I could just find these diamonds in the right spots. Nope. Find them wherever they are. And therefore, I don't care where you are on my team. You could be on my 100th level or my 1st. If you want to be one of the 1,000, then I want to help. I remember when I was flying around Australia with Adam. And Rod. No, wait, was Rod with us at that time? Yeah. Dude, were you? No, not that time. But wait, you did fly, didn't you fly with us? Yeah, we went from, where were we when we went to Dubai and to Ireland? When was that? Well then, yeah, it was. Okay, so I'm with Rod and Adam and we're flying. Did we fly all over Australia? No, we didn't. We just went down to Albury, right? Okay, that's right. I'm with Rod. We're in Australia. When you brought me that Modern Essentials book and that intro kit, did you ever dream that would put us in Albury, Australia? Incredible. What a miracle. This whole thing is a miracle. And so, you just find the diamonds wherever they are. Wherever they are. Are they in Jerome? Yeah, as a matter of fact. Courtney Moses, Julianne and David Ellis, Bernie and Janet Marquez, 3 diamonds right in this little town. And many more to come. Wendell, Stephanie Green, she's right there. She's going to be a diamond this year. Bethany and Callie, those are diamonds if I've ever seen them. And I've seen a lot of diamonds. Oh, I'm looking around this room. There's a mother of 12, I believe. Is that right? Yes. And by the way, she cooks with her heart. She puts love into her food. That's a diamond. Oh, I'm looking at these people. That's a diamond. You guys are so awesome. So I find them wherever they are. They could be anyone, and they can be anywhere. And this business will take you wherever you're willing to let it take you. I remember when I was a gold, and I was just hitting gold, I contacted Adam and Rosie, who were living in Australia at the time. But they just seemed like they had something about them. I thought they could be great in this. And I remember thinking to myself, do I want to go to Australia? Yeah, I do. I've always wanted to go to Australia. Down under, I want to go there. And I want to eat kangaroo. I know you don't think that's a good idea, a little hoppy and skippy and jumpy and all that, but they're pretty tasty. Anyway, so I go to Australia. First time I went, it was a great success. And you know what they said in Australia? This isn't America. People here are quite skeptical. It probably won't work well here. That's why people don't sign up like they sign up in the United States. It's a little harder here in Australia. I don't know if you've known this, but Australia has been the fastest growing market in all of doTERRA for the last few years. It's really interesting to see the belief level of people. Whatever you believe is true, I've learned. In fact, I'm here in Jerome, and many of you are probably thinking, you know what? This area has been picked over pretty well. I think the opportunity must be in Ireland. Because in Ireland, that's where the latest diamond on the 1,000 Diamond Project just hit. Martin and Petra Glenn, with 2 little beautiful daughters, reached diamond. By the way, that is so life-changing for them, I cannot describe it. When you're used to making $3,000 a month and just the diamond bonus alone is $4,000, how is their life going to change? Their life is changing dramatically. And yet I remember going to Australia and them saying, you know what, this isn't America. The people here don't think like they think in America, and they don't. And it probably won't work well here in Europe. Europeans are typically not as open to network marketing as Americans are. And I'd chuckle and be like, you think Americans are open? No, okay. And they'd tell me that. Yep, Europe. 168% growth last year, fastest growing market in all of doTERRA now, passed up Australia. And now I remember the people in Europe thinking, wishing that they could come to America to build here in the fertile lands of America. And now all the people here in America are wishing they could go and build in the fertile lands of Ireland. Faith is the power that brings about the miracle of your business. You believe, if you believe, that this land is too picked over, it is. If you think that this is the best place to build, guess what? It is. Faith, belief is the power that brings about the miracle of your business. You choose what you believe. And you have a choice. You can choose to give in to your fears and doubts, or you can choose to believe whatever you want. I, for one, choose to believe there are hundreds of diamonds left. In this little area. Because I know what Idahoans are like. My parents are Idahoan. Back in the 1950s, a whole bunch of Idaho potato farmers moved to the Columbia Basin of Washington State. And that's me. They moved out to that area. They were pioneers in that area. They broke the ground. For a while of my childhood, we bathed in the canal because we didn't have water. I lived in a double-wide trailer with 10 kids in my family. When Mount St. Helens blew up on my farm, well, on our family's farm, we lost our farm. And when that happened, I watched my mother start a home-based business of making candy. And I watched her work so hard. And I watched my dad support her. I remember we'd wake up at 5 in the morning. He'd wake us up. We'd go out to the kitchen, and he had for us a pot of oatmeal with raisins. It's about the only breakfast he knew how to make, because that's what I got every time when Dad made breakfast. And I'd ask, "Where's Mom?" "She's out in the candy kitchen making candy." So he'd feed us, get us ready for school, and then we'd all walk out and make candy until the bus came. And as I walked into the candy kitchen every morning, my mom would stand there at this stove. She's stirring pots of caramel or fondant or whatever it was. And she'd say, "Seth, I need you over here. Laura, can you do this? Natalie, go over there and I need you to help over here. Heidi, can you do that?" And she would just direct us here and there and all over there while she's stirring those pots of caramel. And we'd make candy until the bus came. And I'd walk out the door and my mom's still standing at that stove, called to us how much she loved us. Have a good day at school. And I walked out and looked back and saw my mom standing at those stoves. Then I'd finish with school, come home, get off the bus, and walk into that candy kitchen, and there she was, standing at those stoves. And she'd get us to work again. And we'd all pitch in doing our job until it was so late. We'd all get tired and want to go to bed. I remember just saying, "Mom, please, can we go to bed? I have homework to do." And she's like, "Okay, you guys go into bed while I'll stay out here and finish up." I was a teenager at the time. I remember I was about 14. I was weightlifting. I was getting into sports, football, things like that. I remember thinking I was getting strong, and I could not outwork my mother. Many of you mothers feel like you may be doing your children a disservice by setting goals and working hard towards them, by allowing your husband to do what my dad did, step into some nurturing roles and feeding the kids. You may feel like you're doing your kids a disservice because you're not there. It's a lie. Your kids look at you and are in absolute awe and wonder. And later on in life, they'll look back at what you did, the sacrifices you made so that your family can have the life that you're going to enjoy. and they will go and change the world as a result of you. My mother has 4 sons. We've never worked for another man. Why? It's not because of my dad. It's because I watched my mother involve us all in a business that she was doing and provide for the family. Now, this business didn't create financial freedom, but it did put food on the table. And it did put hope and a dream in each of our hearts. And like Janet's mother, my mother too is the parent of a blue diamond and a diamond and a diamond and a silver. Now you could say, so what? And I say, yeah, because a diamond means something. Why is it worth going around the world to find the diamonds wherever they're at? Because you need to know what a diamond represents. I remember I was on an airplane flying around Australia. And I was trying to think of this 1,000 Diamond Project. What in the world? Why do I want to do this? I thought, 1,000 diamonds is going to take a long time, be a lot of work, and it's not even going to, I have enough money, I don't want to do this. Why do this? And then I started wondering, what does a diamond represent? That's what happened. The voice came into my head again. What does a diamond represent, Seth? So I started writing as I was flying around the world. What is a diamond? What does it mean when you go diamond? When you go diamond, it represents so many things. One diamond. Did you know that one small diamond organization, if you were to teach your team to buy the Hope Oil, that a small diamond organization would create enough funds to save 30 children a year. 1,000 diamonds would create a large enough team that would produce enough revenue to save every child within 10 years. But a diamond represents more than that. A diamond represents someone who knows how to set and accomplish goals. They know what they want, why they want it, when they're going to get it, and how they're going to get it. There are way too few people in this world who know how to do that. But a diamond represents just that. A diamond represents someone waking up every morning free. Imagine waking up not worrying about how to pay the bills. Imagine the sweetness of life when money isn't the reason you exist. And even if it's not the reason you exist, it still impacts every part of your existence until it doesn't. When you have enough, when you have sufficient for your needs and then some, when you're out of debt, completely free. Imagine what it's like waking up every morning and there's plenty of money in the account. And a friend calls you up and says, I need $20,000. I'm in a hard way. I didn't know who else to call. You were my friend back in high school. Can you help? Yes, as a matter of fact, I can. Why are you in this predicament? Would you be willing to take some advice? I'm willing to give money if you're willing to take advice. And so you get put in a position to do so much good for so many people. The diamond represents that kind of freedom. It represents massive amounts of healing. You know, for you to go diamond, you're going to have to put oils in thousands of homes. Now, not you, but you have to know how to lead a team to do that. And so a diamond represents a leader. You're going to have to become a leader. Great. Does this mean you're going to have to change? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Uh-huh. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Are you going to want to quit? Probably. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And when you see the miracles that I have seen, you would see that it's worth every sacrifice and every effort to put oils in as many homes as you possibly can. Because when you do, and you see people who could not walk that are now walking, or people who could not hear that now hear, or a man who lost sight in one of his eyes that now sees, or a person who should be dead that's still alive. I've seen all of that many times. Not the sight thing or the hearing thing, but I have seen the walking thing more than once. And I've seen people who should be dead that are still alive more than once. And a myriad of other small miracles, like the person who had allergies that couldn't even walk through a grove of trees without ending up in a hospital that now can. Or the person who struggles with this or that or whatever it is, depression, anxiety, all those things. That's the miracle that you get to offer to people's lives. And a diamond represents you being a leader that's going to create that kind of healing happening in thousands of homes. Therefore, 1,000 diamonds means that kind of healing happens in millions of homes. You cannot be a diamond without embracing the ministry of healing. But a diamond also represents so much more. It represents your dream, your wants, your goals, the reason you're here, your divine mission and purpose as being a real possibility. What did you dream about doing? You can do it. What do you hope for, long for, wish for? You can do it. Now there's a price to be paid, and I'm going to share with you 5 things that are going to help you pay that price. Number 1, I want you to say this back to me, all right? I know I'm going over time. Do you care? All right. Maybe. I don't know. I want you to say to me, it's possible. It's possible. If Rod can do it, you can do it. Now, if there's nothing more true than that. It was funny yesterday, he was going to show how tall he was. He was sitting on a stool and he stood up and he was shorter than when he was sitting on the stool. I love Rod Richardson. But this is possible, guys, and you have to choose to believe it. It was mentioned last night that Roger Bannister was the first man to break the 4-minute mile. Before him, not a single person had done it. Everybody wondered if it could be done. Scientists said it couldn't be done. He was on a strict diet, an amazing training regimen, all to break the 4-minute mile, and finally he did. And when he did, within 1 month, his rival did. And from that time to this time, tens of thousands of people have run the 4-minute mile, including high school students. What changed? Gravity? A belief. Faith was the power that brought about the 4-minute mile. And it's that faith that created the knowledge in people that they knew that it was possible. So they did it. So the first thing you need to say to yourself is, it is possible. If they can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. If you want an example of someone who's like you, who's succeeded, there's enough of us. Every background, there's no discrimination here. A diamond comes from every part of the world and can be anyone. And the main difference is the person who says it's possible is the one that says that it is the one who realizes that. Second principle, say this back to me. It's hard. Easy's not an option. It's hard to change your life. You've been programmed over the last 20 years, 40 years of your life to act and think and be a certain way. And if acting and thinking and being that way isn't going to get you what you want, then change, and that's hard. It is just straight up hard. So many people say Stuff like this. Well, I was going to do it, but then it just didn't open up for me. It wasn't very easy. It was harder than I thought, so it must not have been right. Bull crap. Who taught you that? That's wrong. It's going to be hard. Do you think when I watched my mom leave to go sell candy, that at any point in that period of time that any of her 10 kids were like, Mom, why do you have to leave again? Yes, we did. Do you think that at any point in the time when we had to go out there before school and after school to make candy until the wee hours of the morning, I swear, that's an exaggeration, 11 at night, my mom stayed till the wee hours of the morning. Do you think during that time we complained? Yes, I complained. But I revere my mother now. I worship the ground she walks on. And so it is hard. Just get used to it. And that's good. And I'll tell you why. Because, third thing, repeat this back to me, it's necessary. The journey you're on is necessary. The changes you're making are necessary. The hardships you're facing are necessary. Why is it necessary? Because the strength of character developed in becoming Diamond is the strength of character that you're going to need to have to keep your soul when you're Diamond. If it was easy, if wealth came easy, there'd be a whole bunch of people with too much money that don't need it and shouldn't have it and would probably ruin them. But the journey is the gift. You get to Diamond, the destination, and realize that the journey was the gift all along. It's who you become in the process that's the true gift. That's the real blessing. Money can come and go, rank can come and go, but who you've become in the process, that's the real gift. And so it is necessary for you to go through what you're going through. And it can mean really hard things. It could mean that your marriage may be having turmoil. My marriage has, because of doTERRA. And on the other side is a better, stronger one. doTERRA just exposed things that needed to change. And the exposure of those things was painful, hurtful. But if those things weren't exposed and those changes not made, it would have led to years and maybe decades of a less strong and a less happy marriage. I'm thankful that doTERRA made me confront the things, the ways that I was acting that was not appropriate for a man in a way for a man to act. I'm grateful for that. Now you may, in the process of your journey, realize that this is bringing up really painful things and you may want to turn back. I want to invite you to push through. Get through it. On the other side is a stronger marriage, a stronger family, better relationships. And because the relationships are better, guess what? So is life. I took my wife to lunch yesterday. And at one point, I was trying to tell her how much she meant to me. I said, honey, you don't understand it. You're 5'2". You're just this little thing. But you are so powerful. And she goes, how? I said, because I can be in all kinds of turmoil inside. And you can put your hand on me. And I feel peace wash over my whole body. And I'm filled with love. Like no one else in the world can do that. So she reached out and put her hand on me, and sure enough, well, that type of love came through hardship. It came through us figuring out how to be married better. We had to learn how to work better together. We had to learn how to communicate better together. And by the way, it's still happening. I mean, we're remodeling a house right now, and I've learned one of the greatest lessons of my life. She is right. All right, I'm going to share with you 2 more principles. Here we go. Ready? It's not over until I win. We got to say it back to me, all right? Ready? It's not over until I win. That is how you must be in this journey. You must persist. Napoleon Hill said that persistence is insurance against failure. Persistence is insurance against failure. Now that's an insurance policy I want. He also said that those who persist, oh man, I got to tell you. So in his book, he's describing the power of persistence, and he said this: sometimes it appears that there is a hidden guide whose duty is to test men, and I add women, whose duty is to test men through all sorts of discouraging experiences. Those who persist receive as their compensation whatever goal they are pursuing, and something much more valuable than material compensation: the knowledge that with each adversity comes an equivalent advantage. Amen to what Napoleon Hill is saying here. It's the attitude of, it's not over. It does not end. It isn't over until I win. It is not over until I win. It may not happen the month you want, the day you want, the time frame you wanted to. I set the goal convinced I was going to hit it 6 times before I actually hit diamond. The first time I thought I could do it in 3 months. Yeah, no, I didn't. But I got to the end of it and I thought, okay, it's not over until I win. I'm going to set the goal again. I've learned from my mistakes. I know I can do it in this time frame. Here's my new strategy. Go. I got to it. No. Failed again. It's not over until I win. But I learned from my failures. And so I set the goal again, and I ran after it with everything and all the belief and faith and everything. Failed. It's not over until I win. So I set the goal again. I learned from my mistakes. I set the goal again. I've learned from my mistakes. It isn't over until I win. 1,000 diamonds will happen. It is not over until I win. I see clearly, and one of my gifts is futuristic. I see clearly in my mind's eye the night when the 1,000th diamond is reached. I'm in my home with who? Timothy Ballard, the man who created Operation Underground Railroad, and many of you, and we celebrate the moment. This is not over until I win. And finally, the 5th thing. I'm going to give you one more. Okay, 5th thing. I appreciate you wanting to clap for that, but I'm going to give you one more, okay? Okay, say it back to me. It's worth it. It's worth it. Now, Holly Orgill, can you come up to the stage? This is worth it. I want to promise each of you that when you get here, you will not think that this is not worth it. That the price you paid was not worth it. I don't want you to think that. No, I'm telling you this is worth it, okay? Now, I also want to say this. The journey is harder than you think it will be. But when you get there, you're going to look back and say, with the reward that I'm receiving, it should have been much harder. Okay? It's harder than you think, but when you get there, you're going to say, it should have been much harder. And I want to just ask Holly, is this harder than you thought?
Absolutely.
Is it necessary?
It has been.
And is it worth it?
The journey has been totally worth it. But I didn't know that until I've gone through it.
So you were mentioning to me that it's much harder than you anticipated before, but that the journey was teaching you things. Would you mind sharing what you've learned from the journey of going diamond?
Ooh. Some of the things that I've learned in my journey, when I first got started, I was very critical. I cared a lot about what Seth thought. I cared a lot about what my husband thought. I cared about what other people thought, and I wasn't really reflecting on what Holly thought and my divinity. And so I was super impatient with myself. I was super impatient with other people. And what I've learned is that it was just a reflection that I didn't love me enough and that I am enough. And so I saw other people as not enough, and lots of people showed up that weren't enough. And so now, as I've gone through this process, which has been ugly and not fun and tears and so much failure, which is okay, it's been the journey, that I look back and I think, I am so grateful for this journey because I love me. And now I have this unconditional love for other people. And that is just a little snippet. Yeah.
So the journey is harder than you thought it was.
Absolutely.
Can you sincerely say you're thankful that it's been that hard?
Yes, absolutely. Because unless the point that you brought up about doTERRA just exposes in your life what needs help, what your pains are. And I think doTERRA just represents this, your big dreams and big goals, and it represents something that you really have to get out of your comfort zone for. So, and the question was why, right?
So why are you glad the journey's hard?
Because it's required me to get past it. If not, I would still be this person that wasn't satisfied with me, that wasn't satisfied with others. And I would be, whether it was doTERRA or not, it would have showed up in other areas of my life because it gets exposed in my marriage, which the things that needed help with that would have continued along, unless I'd really had to get out of my comfort zone. It's represented something that, I've had this vision and I want it so bad that I would, every time I failed, it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about this? So how are you going to make it work?
Give it up for Holly Orgel. Thank you very much. That's a diamond right there, walking. That's a presidential diamond, actually, I can say that. And that's a leader of hundreds of diamonds right there. I just want to say that I do love you. Thank you for being you. And thanks for making the trip to be here. Thank you for believing, for choosing to have faith, choosing to believe in what this all means. It's time to go, but I just wanted you to know that it's been an honor to talk to you, and we'll see you later today. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Sorry, guys. Lunch is ready to go, and we would like to thank Matt and Rebecca and Stephanie and Lawrence for all the hard work they did getting us lunch. So if we want to head down to the cafeteria, we can go ahead and eat, and then we'll be back here in, we're so off our schedule, I don't even know what time. What? 45 minutes. 1:45. 1:45. Thank you.